Last Saturday, in front of 70,000 fans at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Emmitt Smith ran his way back into the Heisman Trophy race with a sterling performance against the Vanderbilt Commodores. Emmitt rushed for over 200 yards, the fourth best performance in Florida Gator football history. This 2-yard touchdown run in the first quarter led the Gators to a convincing victory over the Vanderbilt Commodores in Gary Darnell's debut as head coach of the Florida Gators. This weekend it's homecoming with all the color and pageantry that goes along with it, including the ever-popular Gator Growl. Florida alumni from all parts of the country have made their way back to Gainesville, hoping the Gators can extend their 5-game winning streak against the University of New Mexico. It's the Lobos and the Gators, next on Sports Channel.
Sports Channel presents University of Florida football, featuring the Fighting Gators. Brought to you by Dairy Farmers Incorporated, producers of real Florida fresh milk. First Union National Bank, First Union Service, we guarantee it. Scotty's, serving Florida with more than 150 convenient locations. You've got to get to Scotty's now. And by Coca-Cola. Coke, you can't beat the feeling.
Well, a week ago it was an Indian summer. Temperatures near 90 at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at Florida Field. This week, the first cool, crisp autumn day of 1989. Beautiful weather for football, the Florida Gators and the Lobos of New Mexico. Hello again, everyone. Larry Vitale along with my partner Jim Yarbrough. We're glad you've joined us for Gator football today on Sports Channel. Jim, it's been another very difficult week off the field for the Florida Gators. After the win over Vanderbilt, they lose quarterback Kyle Morris because of violations of NCAA rules by Kyle. Mid-season, they have to turn to a freshman, Lex Smith, to take over.
A difficult situation, Larry, but what a supporting cast a Gator quarterback has, whether it's Donald Douglas or Lex Smith. I think the Gators have 21 guys that can line up and play with any team in the nation. It's uncertain what's going to happen at the quarterback position. Also, probably playing the weakest team on the schedule today. And so I think the quarterback has a lot of things going for him with the support of his teammates.
Well, one guy who certainly does a lot to build up that supporting cast is tailback Emmitt Smith, the junior from Pensacola, Escambia. Today, an excellent chance to become Florida's all-time leading runner.
Well, you don't understand what makes Emmitt Smith so successful. You know, he doesn't have that great breakaway speed. We saw last week that he broke away from the line of scrimmage, but was run down from behind. He's not big, he's not that strong, but he just is one of the leading rushers in the history of the University of Florida, about to overtake Neil Anderson, who's now a star with the Chicago Bears.
Now, the defense is also going to try to do its part to make things easy for the new Florida quarterbacks, but they've got a bit of a tricky challenge. Wide receiver Terrence Mathis, an excellent player for New Mexico.
He is, Larry. He's only 5'9", 165 pounds. He only needs about 9 yards to move ahead of Ron Sellers, a guy that I played against from Florida State in terms of yardage as a receiver. From Stone Mountain, Georgia, the kid has tremendous talent, and we're looking forward to watching him play today, but he's lining up against the #1 defense in the nation in terms of pass defense.
Well, Terrence Mathis tries to become the NCAA's all-time receiving yardage leader against the Florida Gator defense. Florida and New Mexico coming up on Sports Channel. It is an absolutely beautiful day for college football in Gainesville, Florida, as the Gators get set to host New Mexico in this homecoming ball game. Temperature right now at 60 degrees, should warm up close to 70, just a slight breeze, absolutely no chance of rain, and it is crystal clear. This is what I call Chamber of Commerce weather, Jim. They go out and take lots of photos on a day like this.
Oh, absolutely, Larry. The kids couldn't ask for a prettier Saturday afternoon to play college football.
Florida and New Mexico have never played. The Gators unbeaten against the WAC, which is the conference New Mexico is in. New Mexico winless against SEC schools, both times against Tennessee. Florida Receiving on the kickoff, Kerry Watkins has room up the middle. He's going to get across the 30 and spin to the 33, maybe the 34-yard line. Give Kerry 29 yards on the kickoff return and pretty good field position for the Florida Gators and quarterback Lex Smith as Carl Logan made the stop for the New Mexico Lobos. There you see Lex Smith as a high school player. He threw for 3,000 yards and 20 touchdowns during his high school career. And you see the all-Smith backfield for the Florida Gators. Lex, Emmett, and Cedric. They could sell some cough drops. And the front line, Neely, Ishmael, Dixon, Bromley, and Durden. That's another change. Hisham Ishmael starting in place of Mark White, who was suspended for one game as well.
Hisham's been so impressive all season long at offensive guard.
Gators are going to go deep right away. One-on-one, Ernie Mills will catch it out of bounds. He made the catch, but it won't count, and right away, Whitey Jordan, the Florida offensive coordinator, lets the world know that Lex Smith can play the Florida offense. They're not just going to let Emmett do it all.
The ball was on the money, Larry. It looked like Curtis Cruz, number 26, the cornerback, actually pushed the receiver out of bounds as he was making the reception, but his feet did not come down inbounds, so obviously incomplete.
The Lobo defense, Cuba, Warner, and Bell across the front. Logan, Morris, Good, and Cregan are the linebackers. And the secondary, Cruz, Everett, Heber, and Harris. Heber will get in on a lot of plays.
And the Lobos have had problems stopping folks all season long.
Pitch to Emmett. He finds running room. He's got a first down. He's one man away from breaking it and just making a shoestring tackle there for the Lobos of New Mexico. Lamont Everett, the free safety, I believe, saved a touchdown. It might have been Harris. We'll take a look.
Well, we talked about Emmett Smith's unbelievable natural ability as he darts through the line of scrimmage, makes about 3 or 4 cuts before he's even touched by a Lobo, and it was Darius Harris finally tripping him up, Larry. But there we see the qualities that make Emmett Smith so great.
Add 20 yards to that rushing total on the year on that carry for Emmett. First down at the Lobo 47. Emmett again sidesteps a tackler and gets a yard or two. Trying to cut back against the grain, and New Mexico did not over-pursue. Haney Sakari, along with Brett Eber, on the tackle for New Mexico.
Larry, we mentioned the Lobos having problems on defense. They've really not been able to stop anybody in this recent 5-game losing streak that they've had. They've had some problems with turnovers, but really just a difficult problem for them on defense.
Gators average 416 yards a game. New Mexico allows 394 yards a game. Another fumbled snap by Lex Smith, but he gets the pitch to Emmett Smith. He's got running room. Emmett inside the 35 gets another first down. Good blocking on the outside. Tony Lomack and Terrence Barber took care of the blocks. Curtis Cruz made the tackle for New Mexico, but Emmett Smith gets 10 or 15 yards and another first down.
Very difficult job, Larry, for the wide receivers on the option to maintain their blocks. They've got to hold those blocks for so long, but both Barber and Lomack were working very hard right there and did an excellent job allowing Emmett Smith to get more freedom outside.
Seeing a little bit of the jitters from Lex Smith. He's dropped 2 of the 4 snaps from center, but he's recovered both times, and the Gators have gotten yardage after each of those muffs. On first down, they give it up the belly to the fullback. Not much running room as Cedric Smith falls inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. Nate Morris, Carl Logan among many in on the stop. Also Scott Cregan, Haney Sakari coming off that pile. Cedric Smith spoke to the crowd at Gator Growl last night as the designated spokesman for the Florida Gators. There you saw Emmett's numbers under Cedric.
Well, he's an excellent representative of the football team. Cedric Smith's a lot of character and a lot of athletic ability. You know, he gets back to the huddle and probably shakes his head, says, how come the fullback gets the ball? We only get 2 or 3 yards. Emmett gets it, he gets 15, 20 a whack.
I wonder why. One reason is he doesn't have Cedric Smith blocking for him.
That's right.
Running right side, not much room, and a flag comes down as well, likely to be holding where it was thrown. Haney Sakari made the stop for New Mexico, but that's a flag that'll usually signify offensive holding, and it does against the Florida Gators.
I think we were talking before the game. The Gators lead the Southeastern Conference in penalties per game, Larry. Is that right?
Penalty yardage.
And that's been a problem for them this season, although Gary Darnell has put extra emphasis on it the last few weeks to try and eliminate those mental mistakes, penalties that kill drives or turn touchdown drives into field goal attempts.
Very surprising. They turned down the 10-yard penalty, take the 2-yard gain by Emmett and bring up a 3rd down and 6 at the New Mexico 27.
Probably think the new quarterback will have problems passing the ball, and they want to see him prove to him right now that he can do it.
Let's see what the Gators throw up there on 3rd down and 6. 2 receivers split out to the left side, the near side of the field, as you look at your screen. Lex Smith drops straight back. He's going to swing it out to Emmett, who's going to be drilled behind the line of scrimmage. Excellent defensive play. That's again Haney Sakari. We've been calling his name a lot on this first drive, and the Gators are going to have to punt it away.
Lex not seeing the defender right in Emmett's face right there, probably would have been better off looking to an alternative receiver, but not having that experience, throws the ball to Emmett, and Emmett's tackled as soon as he touched the football.
Gators are going to punt the football from the 34-yard line, electing not to try the 50 or 51-yard field goal. Hank Roan in to punt for Florida. High kick and a long one. That should sail very close to the goal line. Chris Brownlee catches it at the 2. Beautiful coverage for the Florida Gators, and New Mexico will start pinned very deep in their own territory.
And Chris is saying, give me a high five, guys. That was a good catch, especially for an offensive guard.
I tell you, you don't get hands like, well, he was a center his whole life before moving to guard late last season, and he showed those good hands that time for the Florida Gators.
Yeah, that's right. At least a center gets to touch the football once in a while.
The Lobos offense, quarterback Jeremy Leach started as a true freshman last year. Dion Morrow gets most of the work out of the backfield, and Terrence Mathis, number 15, going for the NCAA career reception yardage record sometime today or by the end of the season. Throw over the middle, complete, juggled, fumble. They're going to call it incomplete.
Jerry Odoms on the tackle immediately. The ball bounced into the end zone where Mark Murray hopped on it, thought he had a touchdown, but once again, Jerry Odoms is in the right place at the right time. He very seldom makes a mental error, and he's covering the back out of the backfield, makes a big hit.
Mark Murray, Brad Culpepper, Tony Rowell not starting today. Tony McCoy back in the starting lineup. There you see that excellent core of linebackers in the Florida secondary. The whole defense has played great. They're ranked number 1 in the nation. On 2nd and 10, sprint draw. Getting out of his end zone and not much further is Dion Morrow.
Godfrey Miles, number 98, who came up with a big turnover last week for the Gators, as well as playing an outstanding all-round football game, makes a hit right here on the draw play. Lobos trying to get a little breathing room, pinned deep in their territory. Look at that hit, head to head. Godfrey Miles, just another outstanding talent on that Gator defense, Larry.
3rd down and 7 at the 6-yard line as New Mexico tries to get out of trouble. Leach looks for the swing pass and now will throw it away to avoid the safety. He was about to be sacked and he just threw it away to avoid the 2 points, and New Mexico is going to have to punt out of its own end zone, and once again the Florida defense brings the crowd to its feet here at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium.
Seems like they get a standing ovation every time they take the field, every time they come off the field, and is it ever well deserved?
Got a quick glance at Florida interim head coach Gary Darnell pacing the sidelines, still serving as his own defensive coordinator. Punt out of the end zone by Albrecht will hit at the 40, roll a few yards. Now it kicks back into New Mexico territory and will be down at the 46-yard line. So it ends up being a 40-yard punt. Rolling around for a while, the Gators will start off in Lobo territory when we come back. No score in Gainesville early in the first quarter. Florida first down at the New Mexico 46 as the Gators try to get on the board. There's a snap ahead of schedule, apparently. Lex Smith ends up getting drilled. Sakari in on the play for New Mexico along with Brett Heber. It appeared that Lex Smith was not expecting the snap.
Well, you talk about a new quarterback, Larry, having problems, and we mentioned the supporting cast and probably the fact that the Lobos may possibly be the weakest team that the Gators have faced to date. Fortunately, that's not a Southeastern Conference opponent on the field right now, or he might be in all kinds of trouble not taking the snap from center cleanly.
Lex Smith, these are his first snaps of his college career. He's redshirted last year and has not played this year up until today. Sprint draw, Willie McClendon, lots of running room. Inside the 45, the 40, to the 35, and very close to a first down. He's got a first down. 13 yards for McClendon on the draw play. Darius Harris runs him out of bounds, but not before the sophomore from University Christian High School in Jacksonville picks up a first down and goes up to 340 yards on the season.
Isam Ismail also on an excellent block there, Larry. And we understand that Emmett Smith, as we look at Gary Darnell, 1-0 during his brief career as a head coach here at the University of Florida. Emmett Smith takes himself out of the game whenever he wants to, and you see Willie McClendon on the field quite often, but even so, Emmett carried, I think, 24 times last week, and he took himself out of the ball game quite often.
Darrell Perry, the senior, hits the middle. He dropped the ball. Was he down? Officials coming in late. We're still waiting for an indication from the officials whether he was down or not. And they say now, no, he was not down, and it's New Mexico football. That's a strange piece of officiating. Nobody wanted to make a decision in the striped shirted crew, and finally New Mexico gets the ball. Nate Morris recovering the fumble from Darrell Perry.
Yeah, you had 4 or 5 guys standing around looking at each other waiting for somebody to make a decision, as you mentioned, and finally they do give it to the Lobos.
Couldn't tell from there if his knee was down already, but it matters not what we think, because New Mexico has the football in good field position now at their own 33-yard line. Jeremy Leach has passed for over 1,700 yards already this season. New Mexico does not have much of a running attack. Mathis on the pitch, on the reverse, juggles it, recovers, but gets barely back to the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up a yard. Jerry Odom, Will White in there on the tackle for Florida. That was a lot of running around for Terrence Mathis, and he ended up getting about the length of the football.
Sometimes you might have success with the reverse against a defense that has the team speed that the Gators do, but conversely, they have the speed to recover as well. So I don't think reverses will work against this team.
Florida has done a good job of not over-pursuing plays this year, with the exception of a few plays in the Memphis State game. Quick slant, and that's going to get a first down. On the reception is Mike Henderson. Will White makes the tackle, but give him 12 yards to the 45, and New Mexico gets a first down.
Jeremy Leach, seeing Mike Henderson has plenty of room at the line of scrimmage, so he hits him immediately, and Will White stumbles for a second but recovers in time to make the tackle.
New Mexico comes out with 2 receivers to the left, tight end also on the left side. A little unbalanced line look. They'll do the sprint draw tomorrow, and he'll get about 5, maybe 4 yards as he is tripped up. Godfrey Miles and Pat Moore get in on the play for the Florida Gators.
Lobos having problems rushing the football this season, only averaging 68 yards per game on the ground, so it would be very unusual to see them move the ball with great success this afternoon on the ground, especially against this #1 team defense in the nation.
Picked up about 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. New Mexico threatening to cross the midfield stripe into Gator territory. Leach with the quick hitch. Mathis looking for somewhere to go, and he is wrapped up. Fee Bartley on the stop for the Gators. Mathis gets the reception, and he gets a grand total of about 2 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 3.5 to go.
Fee Bartley moved from linebacker to strong safety, and a lot of speed in the secondary for the Gators. Fee Bartley, an excellent hitter as well.
And you see the head coach of New Mexico, Mike Shepard, had a tough time trying to get this program to be competitive. They're going to throw out of the shotgun, 3rd down. He hits it over the middle and drilled for absolutely no gain on the play is the tight end. That's on the reception, Kano Brown. Apparently, that's somebody who's not on our list, number 87 from New Mexico. But the Lobos will have to punt it away.
Now, the guy that is on our list is that walk-on inside linebacker who earned a scholarship, Pat Moore from Pensacola, the 5th-year senior, an outstanding leader for the Gators.
Gators with a pretty good rush, but they can't get to Albrecht. The ball hits at the 20, hangs a left, and goes straight out of bounds. Not often you'll see a punt turn on a dime when it hits the ground, but that one did. We have played 8 minutes and 8 seconds in the first quarter. There's no score on a homecoming Saturday in Gainesville. Broadcast rights to this game have been granted to Sports Channel Florida by the University of Florida solely for the entertainment of our audience. Any reproduction, retransmission, or other use of this program without the express written consent of Sports Channel Florida is strictly prohibited. Gator ball at their own 19 as they start their 3rd offensive series. Emmett Smith cuts back, finds some running room and gets 5, maybe 6 yards through the New Mexico defense, and that's Emmett at his best. Picking his way, little hip there, a little knee there, and next thing you know, he's halfway towards another first down.
And also, Larry, underrated is the play of this offensive line. John Durden, Chris Bromley, they get some movement, and it allows the tailback to cut back. You see him make the cutback there because there was movement at the line of scrimmage. Those guys were creating space for their All-American tailback.
Emmett already with 39 yards, got 6 of them on that play at 2nd down and 4. Pitches to Emmett, he'll come up the middle. He'll get a first down to the 32-yard line. Good line surge that time for the Florida Gators. Hisham Ishmael was all the way down, burying somebody in the secondary. Brett Heber ended up making the stop for New Mexico, but again, that time Emmitt Smith, plenty of running room right up the middle.
And Mike Good, the inside linebacker, number 51 for the Lobos, walked right into the hole, and he met Cedric Smith, and Cedric Smith just unloaded on him. And again, you got to credit the fullback when the tailback has success. Give credit to that fullback, Cedric Smith.
Ball at the 33-yard line. Give Emmett 7 on that carry. Changing the play at the line of scrimmage is Lex Smith. He's going to throw. He's looking deep. He's got one-on-one for Ernie Mills. He's got Mills at the 35-yard line. A beautiful throw.
Ernie Mills just having one step on Curtis Cruz, but that's all you need when the quarterback threads the needle, Larry. And Lex Smith, I believe that's his first completion of the ball game,
of his career as a Florida Gator.
And it was a beauty. Ernie Mills, who's beat some defensive backs earlier this season by just sprinting past them down the sideline, again does the same thing. And Cruz is hanging on for dear life.
First down, Florida at the 34 of New Mexico. The Gators again in scoring range. We'll see if they can keep on going.
Ernie Mills having one of the best per catch yard averages on the team.
Terrence Barber open on the left sideline, goes out of bounds at the 18. Flag on the play, and that may be a clip. Stacy Simmons trying to help out, and I'm afraid Stacy didn't help much.
Yeah, that was just an aggressive mistake. Stacy Simmons getting over, thinking he can throw the block that might make the difference and allow Barber to get down the field, but you'll take mistakes like that on occasion because you know the kids are out there hustling.
16-yard gain, and it'll be a 15-yard penalty, so the ball will end up at the 33 with a first down and 9 yards to go for the Gators.
15 yards.
So that takes away from the efforts of Smith and Barber on that play, but you saw the improved confidence just on that one play from Lex Smith after having audibilized and hit the big pass to Ernie Mills. A very secure looking Lex Smith on the rollout.
Oh, you're right. Lex Smith says, hey, I'm on a roll now. You know, he's got one completion. He's going to come out and get another one. Barber is wide open, and Stacy Simmons again comes over hustling, making the clip.
1st and 9 from the 33-yard line. Sprint draw. Emmitt Smith gets out of traffic. Still going forward. They got him by the head, and he still gets a first down inside the 24-yard line. I don't know how they avoided a face mask penalty that time.
And I don't know how he continued to fight for 4 or 5 extra yards. This kid just is simply amazing. You don't know how he does it. I can't explain it. I don't think anybody else can explain it when they watch him play. But all you can say is, hey, give him the ball. He'll pick up 6 or 7 yards. It's automatic. And maybe more.
Emmitt closing in on the school record for career rushing yardage. He needs 94 today. We've got 5 minutes, clock running now, 4:45 to go in the first quarter, and Emmitt's up around 50, so he's very well on his way to getting that record this afternoon. Pitch goes to Emmitt, running left side, tries to turn the corner, makes one man miss, and then ends up picking up a yard maybe around the 23-yard line. Nate Morris in on the stop along with Lamont Everett.
Well, the Gators continue to look impressive on this drive, but they've yet to get in the end zone, and that's the statistic that makes the most sense to the coaches, and they can't afford to let the Lobos stay in this ball game forever, or certainly in the first quarter if they want to get out and get some breathing room.
Gators with over 100 yards in total offense, but nothing on the scoreboard as we near the 4-minute mark to go in the first quarter. 2nd down. Might as well call it 10 at the 23. It's a little less than that. Pitches again to Dexter McNabb up the gut. Dexter McNabb close to a first down near the 13-yard line. Curtis Cruz makes the stop for New Mexico, but a lot of running room for the sophomore from Defuniak Springs.
Darrell Perry in at fullback throwing the key block here. McNabb, a former fullback, moves to third-team tailback, and he's got tremendous ability too. He and Willie McClendon, true freshmen last year for the Gators, and both of them have impressed Gator fans with their running ability. Look at the size of the hole as you see Bromley downfield throwing a block as well.
Mike Good, number 51 for New Mexico, just blown out of the way by Darrell Perry. First down at the 13. Give up the middle to Emmett. No one touches him. Touchdown, Gators. Big hole up the middle of the defense. Cal Dixon knocked someone way out of the way. Emmett Smith has just tied Neil Anderson for the most rushing touchdowns in Gator history with 30. He needs one more to tie Neil for total touchdowns. Neil had 32, 2 as a receiver. Emmett has the 1 as a receiver. Now Arden Krzyzewski will go for the extra point to make it 7-0. Arden has not missed. And he still has not missed. He's now 7 for 7 in extra points, 5 for 5 in field goals. 3:23 to go in the first quarter, and the Gators are on the scoreboard. The Florida Gators on an excellent drive that started back on the Gator 19-yard line, and who else are you going to give it to when you need 6?
Cal Dixon at the point of attack with a big block, and Emmett's hardly touched as he sprints into the end zone. Emmitt Smith unofficially now, I think we have him for well over 50 yards, and we still got over 3 minutes in the first quarter. If he continues at this pace, he might rack up his second consecutive 200-plus yard game.
66 yards for Emmitt Smith already in the ball game. New Mexico kickoff return attempt. Looking for running room up the middle is Mathis, and some Gator gets him by the ankles and just won't let go. Marquette Oliver, freshman from Pensacola Pine Forest, the mythical high school national champs of last year. Marquette signed with the Gators late in the recruiting season. Started a couple of games, has been excellent on special teams, and has got the look of a real top-notch college player for the next 4 years for the Gators. So New Mexico will start on offense at its own 26. Their first possession was at the 2-yard line, the next at the 33. Jeremy Leach, another reverse to Mathis. Bartley is taken out by one blocker, but the Gator pursuit gets there at the 25.
Well, that's the key, Larry. You can take out one Gator, you might take out 2, but you got about 8 or 9 other guys fly into that football, and I don't think New Mexico is aware of the team speed of this Gator defense, but they're going to find out early in the ball game that those kids are hard to account for.
They've got to be aware now. That was a well-executed reverse with 2 excellent blocks on the corner, and they gained nothing. They lost a yard. Jeremy Leach, 301 completions, and he's just 8 games into his sophomore year. Nice cut by Morrow across the 30 to the 31-yard line. Dion Morrow on the carry for New Mexico brings up a 3rd down and 5. 80 yards in 7 plays. A beautiful drive for the Gators. That 40-yard completion to Ernie Mills, the big play. And Emmitt Smith runs it in for the touchdown.
We saw Vanderbilt against the Gators last week, trying to screen, trying to draw, trying to slow down that #1 defense in the nation, and here we see New Mexico out of the shotgun trying to draw as well, and it worked with some success.
3rd down and 5 at the 31-yard line. The Gators will be pinning their ears back and going after Leach this time. He's got time. Up the middle he goes, close to a first down, but there's a flag on the play. And that's going to be offensive holding without a doubt. Godfrey Miles made the tackle for the Florida Gators, along with Jerry Odom. It's going to be close. We'll see if they measure it to see if the Gators want to decide on 4th and short or just push them back 10 yards.
I think Mark Murray was the one that was victimized right there. And what happens, Mark Murray, with his speed, is on the weak side of the New Mexico offense, and the offensive tackle's out there all by himself. And so the line judge, who's standing along the sideline, looks in, and he's looking directly at the offensive left tackle at the top of your screen. And watch Mark Murray come around him. Now, he just grabs him and threw him down right there. Mark Murray bounced up and started protesting, and sure enough, the line judge over there had already thrown the flag.
Brad Sullivan, the left tackle for New Mexico, making his first start, and he starts out with a first quarter holding penalty. Less than 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. The Gators leading 7-0. It's third down and about 20. Leach throwing deep left side in between his two receivers and incomplete. Tony McCoy was bearing down on Jeremy Leach, and he had nothing to do but throw the ball away, and New Mexico is going to have to punt back to the Gators again as Mike Shepard starts to wonder how he's going to slow down those Florida Gators. The draws and the screens and the reverses seem to be well executed, and yet Florida just has so much athletic ability, they're negating the plays that the Lobos are running well.
And those are plays that you try on occasion. You can't run them as a steady diet and expect to accomplish that much. Those are change of pace plays.
Tony Lomack makes the catch around the 38, 37-yard line on the fair catch. Albrecht with a good punt that time of 41 yards for New Mexico. And the Florida Gators, who drove 80 yards for a touchdown on their last possession, will go to work again with 1:23 to go in the first quarter, leading by a score of 7-0. Lex Smith has gone all the way for Florida. The Gator cheerleaders are satisfied to this point. The guys particularly, because they do a push-up for every point when the Gators score. So they don't like those 60-0 games. 16-13, the LSU game was just fine for those guys. Flags all over the place. They're going to have a false start of some sort against the Florida Gators on the play, and it'll bring about a first down and 15 yards to go.
We understand that head coach Gary Darnell wants to get Donald Douglas in the game early, wants him to alternate quite a bit with Lex Smith today, although this has been the Lex Smith show so far this afternoon. But Donald Douglas will see a lot of action at quarterback as well. And once again, when you got the supporting cast on offense that either quarterback has, they ought to have quite a bit of success.
Gary Darnell thinks the world of the young man he's talking to right there. Patrick Moore from the same high school that produced that guy, Emmett Smith, Escambia High School. Dwight Thomas, an outstanding high school coach out at Escambia.
Thank goodness the Panhandle is part of the state of Florida, because there's some awesome talent out there that make their way to Gainesville.
Bunch of Gators from the Pensacola area and other spots of the Panhandle. Willie McClendon with running room left side. Good job closing up the hole for New Mexico. Making the tackle is Monty Cuba, a backup defensive lineman. He had been starting, lost his starting job, but made a play there on McClendon for a gain of just 4 yards, bringing up actually about 9 yards after the penalty. So a 9-yard gain for McClendon. It'll be second down and 6 from the 42. There's Lex, not bad numbers. 2 out of 3 for 49 yards. And remember, he had the 16-yarder to Barber called back by a penalty.
Yeah, he would have been 3 out of 4.
McClendon running left side, and a host of New Mexico tacklers are there. Dave Warner, Nate Morris. Late into the play, Jimmy Marshall. Gain of just a couple to the 43-yard line, and Florida will have a third down and 5. Stacy Simmons runs into the Florida huddle with the play from offensive coordinator Whitey Jordan. As the player runs in the play, quarterback coach Bill Cubitt signals the formation. And that system has helped Florida avoid penalties. Time running out in the first quarter. I don't believe we're going to get the snap off. It's going to be real close. 2 seconds, 1. And that's the end of the first quarter. We did not get the snap off. So the Lobos of New Mexico, a team that was off the board as far as a line on this game, 1-6 from the WAC conference, but New Mexico hanging tough against the Gators. Florida up 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. Great matchup. May not be available in all areas, so check your local listing. Florida, 4 out of 9 on third down. We'll see how the Gators do here on a third down and 5. Lex Smith puts Emmett back into his tailback spot. They're going to run an option left side. Pitches to Emmett. He spins away from a tackler and may have gotten that first down all by himself.
Greg Keller in the game, the young true freshman tight end. Number 89 throwing a block on the option to the weak side right there. Again, the Gators continue to try and get the football as often as they can to their All-American tailback, on that occasion via the option.
They mark Emmett a full yard shy of a first down, and I don't see how He stepped out that far from the yard marker. He went out right over the stick, it appeared. But he does not get a favorable spot, and Florida will punt on 4th down and a yard to go. Hank Roan comes into the ball game for his second punt. His first was caught on the 2-yard line by Florida's Chris Bromley, only a 32-yarder, but it was really an excellent kick because he got it down inside the 10. This kick is going to be fielded at the 15-yard line, and stepping out of bounds at the 19. They don't call him out of bounds, and all the way up to the beyond the 20 near the 30-yard line is Curtis Cruz, a 39-yard punt, a healthy return. It appeared Cruz stepped out at the 19, but apparently he kept that foot in bounds.
Brent Ellis making an excellent tackle right there, too, because there was a wall there for a moment. Brent Ellis sprinting down the sideline, making a big tackle on the play.
7-0 Florida, 14:42, just getting going in the second quarter. New Mexico has not had much success offensively.
Less than 30 yards total offense.
Leach with plenty of time throws deep over the middle, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Mathis. And if that had held up a little while longer, Mike Henderson could have caught that deflection and run on in.
Will White, excellent coverage from the free safety position, helping his cornerback Richard Fain.
New Mexico not even trying very hard to run the football. They've had a couple of draws, a couple of reverses. Haven't seen any straight running from them. There you see the numbers for Jeremy Leach. Florida really hasn't put a lot of pressure on him. There's a delayed draw to Dion Morrow, very late developing play. Jerry Odom, Brad Culpepper in on the stop for the Florida Gators. Odom blitzing up the middle really disrupted that play.
Larry, talking about the running game, I think the Lobos had no perception that they would be able to run the ball this afternoon that much, because they are averaging less than 70 yards a game running the football. So they expected to come in here and put the ball in the air quite often, occasionally run a draw as we just saw the previous play, but that time the Gators shut it down.
They lost 2 on that draw. It'll be 3rd and 12, and Jeremy Leach doesn't like what he sees in the Florida defense. Not that he has up to this point, but he's going to go ahead and call a timeout and go to the sideline and talk it over with head coach Mike Shepard. 14 minutes and a second to go in the second quarter from Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at Florida Field. Homecoming weekend for the University of Florida. The Gators up by a touchdown. Jeremy Leach will be in the shotgun on 3rd down. New Mexico on the year, a little better than 1 out of 3 on the day. They are 0 for 3 on 3rd down. This is a 3rd and 12. Leach, again, pretty good protection. Now runs out of time as he's being dragged down. He gets it away, but right there to make the tackle is Jerry Odom. Aaron Givens made the catch, but Tony McCoy bearing down on Jeremy Leach really disrupted things again. Again, the Gator defense will get a hand from the Florida crowd. Watch McCoy come charging it.
And he did come in late, as you mentioned. It was pretty good protection, actually very good protection, but the secondary had done their job as well. You know, they're back there working just as hard as the guys at the line of scrimmage, and that Gator defense again shuts down the Lobos.
Albrecht's punt hits at the 37. The Gators let it roll. It's going to roll for another 15 yards down to the 22, maybe the 21-yard line. I don't know if they keep a stat, but I'd love to know how much yardage has been gained by opposing punters with balls not being fielded by Gator punt returners this year.
Yeah, usually a team will have another safety who is about 15 yards short of the deep man receiving the punt in case the ball is kicked short, so he can in fact catch it in the air and it doesn't bounce on the ground. But you're right, you continue to see the ball bounce on the ground when the opponent is punting against the Gators.
Florida football at the 21-yard line. The Gators try to get something going, leading 7-0. Rolling right, Lex Smith. He's going to throw it to Ernie Mills at the 24. Ernie goes out of bounds at the 23, and that's a gain of 2. It's a risky pass to get only 2 yards out of. Lex Smith rolling to his right. Found Ernie Mills, but not much there. Donald Livingston ran Ernie out of bounds.
By the time Lex Smith decided to throw to Ernie Mills was breaking toward the sideline, so he didn't continue to come back to the football until he only wound up, as you mentioned, 2 yards down the field.
A few Gator fans. Some students in there, or are they all alumni? They'll be watching, saying, hey, I made it. I was on Sports Channel. I'm sure they will. I do every night. Second down, call it 7 for the Gators. Running right side, Emmett spins off a tackle and gets to the 29-yard line. Mike Good on the stop for the New Mexico Lobos, along with linebacker Rob Nickel. Emmett from the 23 to the 29, give him about 6 yards. It'll bring up 3rd and 2.
Mike Brandon, big number 85, a sophomore tight end who moved over from defense to help out at the tight end position. He's in the ball game right now.
Emmett shaken up a little bit, goes out of the ball game. Gets some attention on the sidelines, and the Gators will try to convert a 3rd down opportunity from their 29-yard line. 3rd down and 2. Florida trying to establish a little dominance in this football game, have not been able to. They're dominating the yard lines, but not the scoreboard to a great extent. And again, nowhere to go for Willie McClendon, and Florida's going to have to punt it away. Florida tried to run left side, and New Mexico's defense was more than equal to the task.
Mike Smith, number 48, was in the backfield almost at the snap of the ball right there. The Gators were in a power eye. They're just not able to accomplish anything on that play.
4th down and a couple. Hank Roan goes in for his 3rd punt of the day. 5th-year senior from Gainesville High School, averaging right around 39 so far. The rush is on. He didn't get it blocked, and no contact, so there'll be no roughing. The ball bounces at the 43 and will be down right on the 43 by Greg Baldwin. Somehow the rush didn't get to Hank Roan, and the 28-yard kick is the result of his having to rush it, and New Mexico is going to have pretty good field position at their own 43, 44-yard line. Our coverage of exciting National Hockey League action continues Tuesday, October 24th. Watch Dennis Savard and the Chicago Blackhawks face off against the Detroit Red Wings, and Steve Yzerman live from the Joe Louis Sports Arena in Detroit. May not be available in all areas, so check your local listings for the date and time of hockey action right here on Sports Channel, the home of the National Hockey League. Sprint draw, nothing there at all. Huey Richardson leads the Florida defense as New Mexico tries the middle and gets absolutely nothing. Dion Morrow again on the carry.
Larry, going back to that punt, I cannot believe it was not blocked. Darius Harris was right in the lap of Roan, and it's unbelievable that he missed that ball. The Gators had a problem right there picking up the rush. Actually, big break that New Mexico didn't get the ball in much better position than they have it right now.
There you see Jeremy Leach's assault on the record books for New Mexico. Big rush coming. They got the screen right side. Givens on the catch, and he's going to be stopped way short of a 1st down. Florida's defense responding well. Patrick Moore in on the tackle for the Gators.
Once again, with the screen, they invite 2, 3, 4 Gators in, let them in, but then they've got to account for the other 5 or 6 guys. As you see, Murray and Huey Richardson, they let them in, but look at Brad Culpepper hustle to the ball. Godfrey Miles on the hit. Pat Moore on the tackle. In comes flying Tim Pauk, excuse me.
He took out the side judge. Fortunately, the side judge is okay. 3rd down and 11 from the 42, 43-yard line. They need to get almost to the Gator 46. Throwing left side, it's going to be caught and being dragged down right near the 1st down marker is Eric Morgan. Fee Bartley on the tackle. And depending on the spot, they give him the spot inside the 46. Gary Darnell all over the officials down there about where they spotted the football. It'll be a 1st down for New Mexico.
Now Morgan coming into this ball game has 27 receptions. Fee Bartley on the tackle right there.
See Morgan down outside the 46. Now if we see where the ball is spotted, the line of scrimmage inside the 46. So he picked up about 2 feet. The difference between needing a measurement and getting the 1st down. New Mexico moves the chains.
Only their 2nd 1st down of the ball game.
Leach rolling right side, lots of time, throws into traffic and completes it. Terrence Mathis making the catch, and the Lobos on the move at the Gator 33. Pat Moore makes the stop for Florida, but the Gators now seriously threatened by this New Mexico team. And Jim, this is what can happen when a team like this stays around, stays within a score. They start to think more and more, hey, these guys may be number 1 in the country in total defense, but we can play with them.
Yeah, they've yet to really accomplish much other than with their success on this series, because they really hadn't piled up any numbers against the Gator defense. But on this series, they are moving the ball very effectively using Mathis, their All-American wide receiver.
Leach throws it away, no flag for grounding. Tony McCoy had Leach wrapped up, and he just threw it into the ground, and he got away with it. Remember, that was an issue last week with both Gromos and Kyle Morris. One grounding call was waved off, another called against Florida, another not called against Gromos. And there you see a perfect case in point where intentional grounding was not called. There, Mathis, number 2 all-time, has set his sights on Mark Zeno of Tulane.
Yeah, Mathis moves ahead of Ron Sellers. The thing about Ron Sellers, he accomplished his yardage in 3 years with the Seminoles. As we see the pass, as you mentioned, clearly thrown right into the ground.
New Mexico picks up the blitz. They hit a wide open Kano Brown, and Brown fights his way inside the Gator 20 to the 15. New Mexico is in scoring territory. Richard Fain makes the tackle. Florida blitzed that time and couldn't get after him. And New Mexico, which has seen its quarterbacks sacked 34 times in the first 7 ball games, has seen Jeremy Leach have excellent protection most of the time this afternoon.
I think what he's doing, too, is he's recognizing immediately at the line of scrimmage who he wants to go to, where the weakness is in that Gator defense. So Leach played an excellent game mentally.
Sprint draw, Dion Morrow, and he is wrapped up for a loss by Huey Richardson. Loss of a couple back to the 17. It'll be a 2nd and 12 from the Gator 17-yard line.
You know, sometimes, Larry, you might have all the physical skills in the world, but you don't use them to the greatest advantage because you're making mental mistakes. But what we're seeing Jeremy Leach do is he's hitting the right man almost on every occasion.
There's the banana man. There you go. Who says that University of Florida students are too serious?
Well, now there's a kid every mom and dad could really be proud of right there, huh?
I have bad news for you, Jim. I know that guy. They got the reverse.
Oh, there's
Mathis
the reverse.
has room. The flag on the play. It's going to be a touchdown, but I think we may have a clip.
Holding, I believe, is the call. On the block, on the reverse, it was either a clip or a hold, one or the other. But it was clearly evident from our vantage point.
Clipping is the call.
The Lobos love to get the ball to Mathis as often as the Gators love to give it to Emmitt Smith. But on that reverse, and again, they've run reverses without much success. It was a wide open opportunity, but there was a clip on a cutback block.
15 yards. They really didn't need the clip because they had such good isolation on it anyway.
I think, again, it's just a matter of a kid's out there hustling. He's trying to make the block that he thinks might make the difference. Watch Mathis come to the left of your screen. Brad Culpepper looks like he might have been rolled on, but just right now, Will
the block
White,
on Fee Bartley.
was it on Fee Bartley?
Very close. It appeared he was hit from the side, but a really costly one. 2nd and 27 for Jeremy Leach in New Mexico. Throwing deep, nobody there. Nobody at all is there. Of course, that's not grounding either, is it? The referee goes looking around. There's not a receiver within 40 yards of that ball.
I think you could have thrown 2 hand grenades near where that ball landed and not wounded any Lobo.
Maybe a photographer in the end zone, but that's about it. 3rd and 27 for the Lobos at the 32-33-yard line.
But I like that call. I mean, we were having problems last week because they were getting a bit ridiculous with it. But, you know, I think you got to expect the quarterback to do his job, and that's throw it away when he's going to get sacked. So sometimes they get carried away with those calls. So they got to treat both quarterbacks equally. That's the key.
New Mexico has converted only 1 time on 3rd down. This is their 6th chance. Leach back to throw. He's going deep down the middle. Overthrown and intercepted.
What a play.
Kerry Watkins making the interception for the Florida Gators at the 12-yard line.
That's almost the most brilliant interception we've seen all year. Kerry Watkins, who comes to the University of Florida 5 years ago with tremendous reputation as an athlete, one of the most highly recruited high school players in Florida history. And look at that talent right there as Kerry skies for the ball, coming up with a brilliant interception.
First interception of the year for the senior from Pensacola Woodham High School. Kerry, one of 2 seniors on the starting defense for the Florida Gators. As good as this defense is, it'll be better next year. Up the middle, Emmitt Smith, 23-yard line, maybe the 24 and a 1st down. Mike Good makes the stop, but your inside linebackers are making tackles 12 yards downfield. Somebody's offensive line's doing a good job, and Gary Darnell huddles his defense together to talk about that drive New Mexico just had on the Florida offense. If not for a clipping penalty, New Mexico would have tied this game.
And I was very impressed with their pass protection on that last series. If they can do that consistently, the Gators will have problems with that offensive attack of the Lobos, but right now the Gators have the football.
Ball at the 24-yard line. Lex Smith gives to Emmitt Smith, and Emmitt gets 3, maybe 4 yards up the middle of the New Mexico defense. They'll mark him down at the 28. It'll be 2nd down and 6. You see 77, Hisham Ishmael, coming off the pile as Emmitt heads back to the huddle. Another number 22, Brett Heber, the free safety, made the tackle, and Emmitt 4 yards away from Neil Anderson's career rushing record at the University of Florida, and in only about 50 fewer carries.
You know, I'm not surprised to see this Gator offense struggling a bit. When the leadership changes hands out there, you expect some problems, and right now Lex Smith is just having a bit of problem moving the Gators with consistency.
2nd down and 6. The pitch is to Emmitt. Emmitt up the middle, breaks loose. He could go. Midfield. 40. 30. One man with an angle has a chance at the 10, the 5. Emmitt scores! What a way to become the all-time leading rusher at the University of Florida. Emmitt Smith all the way for 6. There he is, folks. Enjoy him. Midway through his junior season. Closes in on 3,400 yards. He passes Neil Anderson. Next target is Joe Cribbs of Auburn. Extra point by Arden Krzyzewski makes it 14-0. The Florida Gators celebrating their new all-time leading rusher, and perhaps they've taken control of New Mexico at the same time. We'll be back to Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. The Gators are up by 2 touchdowns. Gators have had trouble shaking off the Lobos, but I believe the Lobo has gone back into the hills momentarily, courtesy of Emmitt Smith. There you see him on the sidelines. What a great back for the Florida Gators. Terrence Mathis at the goal line. He's returned 2 for touchdowns this year. He's going to get to the 23 and regret it this time as Alonzo Sullivan drills him.
Big hit by the wide receiver on the kickoff coverage team.
Alonzo is a sophomore from Largo who was a high school quarterback converted to wide receiver. He might end up being a defensive back the way he loves to hit on special teams. But let's watch Emmitt go for 72.
Larry, what's most impressive about this run after Emmitt bowls over 2 Lobos outside the line of scrimmage? Watch the last 4 yards. Watch what he does on the last 4 yards of this carry. Now he's going to bury his head. Look at the drive that carried him into the end zone.
Donald Livingston rode along. Now the fired up Gator defense swarms around and stops. I believe it was Dion Morrow on the carry for another loss back to the 20-yard line, a loss of 3.
And you see how electric Emmitt Smith is, and he's created enthusiasm on the defensive line of scrimmage now for his teammates because they're so excited about watching his effort and his run. Now they want to go out there and get a piece of the Lobos themselves.
2nd down and a long 12 back at the 20-yard line. Morrow running right side, cuts back, has a little bit of a crease, and then he's wrapped up again by the Florida defense. Brad Culpepper in on the play for the Gators, along with Godfrey Miles, who's gotten in his share of good hits already.
Good hits, yeah, I believe it. Godfrey Miles, just a gigantic hitter. You know, in addition to his speed and his strength, he's a ferocious hitter. He's one of the hardest hitting guys on that terrific Gator defense.
Ball at the 23. It'll be 3rd down. They'll call it 9, but they really need just about 10 yards, 9.5 at least. Leach back in the shotgun again. Gator pass rush, doesn't get to him. He throws complete, but stopped at the 30, short of the 1st down is Terrence Mathis. He got the ball at the 31, and then Godfrey Miles and Pat Moore said, "You are not getting to the 32." But give Mathis another reception and give the New Mexico punter some extra work on 4th down and about 2 yards to go. No, maybe apparently they're going to go for it. You see the scoring drive, that's a tricky one. 3 plays, 87 yards.
Well, I guess they figure...
and they were all in
discretion is the...
Sudden attack of common sense is what it is here. And the Gators have people all over the field trying to get their punt return team on. They race off the field, no flag for having too many men on, which is shocking in itself.
Don't let it roll again.
Stacy lets it hit at the 38. It rolls dead at the 18, a 20-yard roll. So the punt was good for about maybe 30. Give it 20 more on the roll for a total of 50. And the Gators will be pinned back at their own 18-yard line, and I'm still trying to figure out how the Gators only had 11 men on the field. The homecoming crowd is a little more comfortable. The Gators are up by 14. Lex Smith all the way at quarterback for the Gators, finds himself pinned back at his own 18. Willie McClendon running right side, no running room. He fights his way to the 20, maybe the 21. A couple of Gator coaches on the sideline asking for a face mask call. They don't get it. McClendon gets 3 yards. It'll be 2nd down and 7. John Bell, the best defensive player for the New Mexico Lobos, made the tackle, number 99. Haven't called his name before. Gators have done a good job blocking on him. He's on the left side usually, and that means he's fighting with Big John Durden. Mark McClendon out of bounds right on the 20. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Florida with over 200 yards in offense, most of it Emmitt Smith, who has 162 already. On 2nd and 8, Lex Smith rolling to his left, has protection, throws for Barber, a little overthrown and incomplete.
Barber about 3 or 4 yards beyond the first down marker, clearly having an opportunity to pick up a first down right there, but ball just sailed a little bit high.
It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Now Barber was one of the outstanding high school receivers in the state of Florida. Lex Smith put up big numbers as a quarterback. You're looking at a kid that put up some gigantic numbers at Auburndale High School as a wide receiver.
Terrence a junior, Lex a redshirt freshman. Auburndale and Pasco, Dade City, not too far apart. Dropping straight back on 3rd and 8, has some pressure, trying to run away. He's going to be sacked at the 15. Making the play for New Mexico, outside linebacker Rob Nichols. So the Florida protection broke down. New Mexico gets the first quarterback sack of the ball game. Nichols making the tackle. That's his first sack of the year. And the Gators will have to punt it away back at their own 15 as Hank Roan goes in one more time. Hank punting for the 4th time. Has one that was down at the 2-yard line. His other 2 kicks in the 35 range. Has not really gotten off a good one so far.
Lobos have 10 men at the line of scrimmage.
They almost got him once before. They didn't get it, but they knocked Roan down. That could be roughing. Taken at the 39-yard line. Morgan has nowhere to go, and he's buried at the 40. A 45-yard kick. Now let's see if it's roughing or running. If it's running, it's 5 yards, and the Gators may not want it.
That looked like a roughing to me. Donald Livingston hitting Roan when he was clearly exposed.
No, they're going to call it running into the kicker.
Are they? Well, don't ask Hank Roan about it. But
don't ask Hank what it takes to rough him, because he gets
he
gets splattered pretty good.
Now, I beg your pardon, but that's roughing the punter unless you touch the ball, you know. If you touch the ball, it's no penalty at all.
Well, now the one official just marked a 15-yard penalty after the referee signaled a 5. The Gators have a first down, and they need to compare notes.
Well, they must have seen you jumping up and down up here and said, wait a minute, let's reconsider.
Now it's unanimous. It is a personal foul, Jim, so we got something done. Who says TV can't overrule things in college football?
That's right.
The first replay overrule in Florida field history, folks, and you got to see it.
And they didn't even ask for it, did they?
You see the numbers for Lex. Hit that one big pass to Ernie Mills. That was his best throwing play of the ball game. And now Michael Brandon checks in as an additional tight end for the Florida Gators. Big Mike Brandon, number 85, lined up on the right side. Gators sent 2 receivers to the left as the fans start the wave at Florida Field. On the delay, Willie McClendon, 35, 37-yard line. Give him 7 on first down. Mike Good makes the stop for New Mexico. Good has been in on every play, including the one where Emmett ran right over him on his way to a 72-yard touchdown.
Well, that's a busy job, inside linebacker. And Larry, you're talking about a delay. It's really, the reason it's a delay is because the quarterback literally walks the ball back to the tailback deep in the backfield, so he has a better picture of where he might want to run. Allows the offensive line to create movement, and then the tailback can go almost anywhere he wants to.
Second down and about 3 from outside the 37. Pitch left side. McClendon's got a big hole. Willie McClendon, one man to beat. He's across midfield and out of bounds at the 48, and he is popped much later. And a late flag. That'll be 15 more.
Wait a minute. No, I think they're flagging a Terrence Barber on a hit. He's looking at Terrence Barber.
You could hear the whistle up here, and then 2 strides later, McClendon got drilled out of bounds. If it's on the Gators, it would be a late hit penalty. Let's
take a look at now he's trying to get up. Now he's out of bounds.
3, 4 steps, and he takes a shot.
Well, the kid's just hustling over there to make the hit, but he had stepped out of bounds, what, about 2 or 3 steps before?
It's going to be a clip way downfield. The flag is on the 41-yard line. The play began quite a bit further back, so let's see how they mark it. Now they're marking, now that's a unique penalty. That's a 23-yarder from where the flag was. So they mark the ball back to the 40 to the 37 of the Florida Gators. And the officials, the chain gang, moved the chains, and I think everybody down on the field's a little confused right now. They've marked it 15 yards from the previous line of scrimmage. But it's still first down and 25. So a clip on the play downfield. They mark it from the previous line. It's first and 25 for the Gators. Dexter McNabb fights off a tackler, and then Good gets a hold of his ankles and won't let go. And McNabb has to settle for a couple of yards. Carl Logan also in on the play for New Mexico. It'll be second down and 23 at the 39-yard line.
And if the Gator offense wants to get in the end zone again or put additional points on the board, they're going to need to hurry up this offense, but they seem to be taking their time, and the ball is in their own territory, maybe a bit reluctant to turn the ball over.
2:15 clock running to go in the first half. Second and 23 for the Florida Gators. Lex Smith rolling right side, will throw it to Tony Jones, who goes down on one knee to make the catch at the 47, maybe the 48-yard line. Gain on the play of about 8, but it'll bring up third and long, third and about 14 for the Florida Gators.
Tony Jones, the senior, who's converted to wide receiver from defensive back, had a lot of room there given to him by Curtis Cruz, the cornerback, and Lex Smith gets the ball out to him.
Also had some running room, but he had to go down to make the catch. So with a minute and a half to go in the first half, the Gators still not in a hurry, just taking their time offensively. Let's see what Florida runs on third and 14. They fake the draw play. Smith in the pocket, throws down the middle. A little bit behind Lomack and broken up by Jimmy Marshall.
Smith pass intended for Lomack, incomplete.
Lomack was just breaking clear, but Lex Smith threw it a little bit behind his intended receiver. And with a minute 25 to go, New Mexico will get the football back.
Gators have had success with this play across the middle. In this instance, trying to get the ball to Lomack. Ernie Mills has come across the middle for the Gators on occasion, but the ball was not delivered, a little bit underthrown right there.
Let's see what kind of pressure they put on the punt. They have come close to Roan a couple of times. There's a lousy kick at the 23, but it's going to get a good roll for the Gators. Fielded at the 9-yard line by Morgan, and he'll be dropped right there. Very dangerous play by the New Mexico return man. Hank Roan with the worst kick of his college career, but it ends up on the stat sheet as a 43-yarder. And we'll see if New Mexico just sits on the football, pinned deep with a minute 15 to go here in the first half.
I would doubt if they'll sit on in the football, because their reputation is to get the ball in the air as often as they can. And Jeremy Leach has a lot of talent, and his line has done a very good job in the second quarter protecting him. But they feel like they're in this game, and they are obviously down 14-0, so they may in fact go in the closet here and just try and
And we got a false start on New Mexico, though that'll put them back to the 5-yard line.
Now they might be even more conservative. As I mentioned, only down 14-0. They got to be satisfied at the halftime break to go in the locker room in that condition.
Gators may use their timeouts. Florida has 3 timeouts to go here in the first half. They haven't used one yet.
That's a good point. Let's see if they put them to work. Especially if the Lobos do run the football and don't put it in the air.
Man in motion for New Mexico. They run right side. Dion Morrow is buried right at the line of scrimmage. Florida not using its timeouts. A little surprised by that.
I am too.
Back him up, try to block a kick.
I think you make an excellent point right there. There's no need to save them. They don't carry him into the second half.
Dion Morrow has carried the ball 9 times for a total of 7 yards. 50 seconds to go in the first half. New Mexico can run off 20 more before they need to snap the ball. Look at the rushing yardage, 214 to 7. That's doesn't get a lot more one-sided than that. Now a timeout is called by someone.
No,
an equipment timeout for the Florida Gators. And they will charge the Gators with a timeout. After wasting 23 seconds, the Gators use one of those timeouts after.
They misinterpreted the signals the coach was giving them. He tried to say, wait until the play is over and call timeout. And they looked over at him and they called timeout immediately. So sloppily using the 3 timeouts that were available to them right there.
There you see some of the Gator majorettes. Talk about products of the Panhandle. One of those 4, the one on the far right, Sabrina Shelfer, a former Miss Panama City.
Boy, your mind's a steel trap, isn't it?
I tell you, there are some things I do not forget.
She got your attention.
I'll kick off with Sports Channel as we bring you more exciting coverage of high school football. Watch the Bryant Hornets take on the Trojans of Hot Springs live from Arkansas, Friday, October 27th at 8 o'clock. Catch all the action on our National High School Game of the Week right here on Sports Channel. May not be available in all areas, so please check your local listings for the date and time in your area. 2nd down, 15, ball at the 5-yard line, 41 seconds to go in the first half. See how New Mexico plays it. They run a draw play. Morrow is tripped up, had some running room, but Huey Richardson got him around the ankles and stopped him. Down at the 9-yard line, and the Gators will call their 2nd timeout of the 2nd quarter, so they'll have 1 remaining. So Florida can force New Mexico to try to punt the football. There is 33 seconds left to go. Gary Darnell from Oklahoma State joined the Gators as defensive coordinator last year, remains in that post as well as serving as Florida's interim head coach.
For the coming expansion of Ben Hill Griffin Stadium at Florida Field, contact Gator boosters or call 1-800-34-GATOR. Be a part of the biggest project.
They are going to have time, as you mentioned, to get a shot at the block punt, but they'd have more time. You know, what, about 15 or 20 seconds more if they hadn't wasted it before they called that first time out in this series. But again, I think they just weren't communicating with head coach Gary Darnell, who's used to being the defensive coordinator and only worrying about what he needs to do on defense as head coach. He's got a lot of other things to worry about, and possibly that might have been a cause of the miscommunication.
And he does not have the luxury, as most head coaches have, of having his own defensive coordinator. So in addition to running his schemes and getting his signs in, it just becomes a more difficult task for the Gator coaching staff, and they're in their 2nd week of adjusting to it. It'll be a 3rd down and 11 back at the 9-yard line. 33 seconds to go. Florida still has that 1 remaining timeout, so they'll get the ball back possibly in field goal range if it's not a very good punt. Running right side, Morrow hit at the 10, dropped at the 12. The Gators quickly call timeout. Racing around is Pat Moore, but you've got 11 guys who are supposed to be able to call timeout in this situation, and only Pat Moore was running around to make that call, and about 3 seconds perhaps ticked off the clock afterwards. But New Mexico will punt it. The Gators will put in their punt block and hope to get either a blocked punt or a poor one. A punt of maybe 30 yards would leave Florida pretty close to field goal range with 20 seconds or so to go.
Even after head coach Gary Darnell got the instructions in to call a timeout, they still, as you mentioned, 3 or 4 seconds on each of the last 2 timeouts were wasted before they got the officials' attention.
Steve Albrecht has had 1 good kick, a couple others that have rolled for much better yardage than he really deserved.
The Lobos were sneaking their punt team out on the field to confuse the Gator punt block team, but in this instance, they're all lined up and ready to go.
Albrecht kicked that away in a hurry. Lomack lets it hit at the 48, picks it up at the 50, delays, and now is going to get dropped. Well, that was not brilliant execution for the Florida Gators either. They didn't field the ball. A low line drive, an easy kick to return. Donald Livingston was not decoyed by the little hesitation move from Lomack. So with 15 seconds to go, the Florida Gators have the ball at their own 47 and will need really about 20 yards or thereabouts to be in field goal range. And without a timeout, they've got to get out of bounds.
And they've just sent Donald Douglas into the ball game, Larry, his first action of the day, and he's got 15 seconds to put a score on the board. A little bit unusual, I believe.
Freshman from Liberty, Texas. Douglas rolling right side, looking for something. He's going to keep it, and he runs out of bounds at the 48-yard line of New Mexico with 8 seconds to go.
A bit of a strange substitution pattern with Douglas going in this late in the first half. We expected him to see action possibly the third, fourth, fifth series of the game, certainly, but now he's put out there with only 2 or 3 plays to run.
Gator coaches maybe thinking send the receivers deep and let Donald run for it and get 15 yards that way. He's an excellent runner. 8 seconds to go, no timeouts remaining for the Florida Gators. Douglas drops back. He's going to go deep. Lomack in the end zone, it's overthrown. Lomack ended up getting a step on Cruz, but the ball was overthrown, and the first half comes to a close. The Gators dominating the yardage up and down the football field. New Mexico had one threat, but Florida riding Emmitt Smith to a 14-point halftime lead on a homecoming Saturday in Gainesville. Back with our halftime show after this break. You're watching Gator football on Sports Channel. Well, the New Mexico Lobos will try to get back into this football game here in the second half. It is 14-0. The Gators on a couple of touchdown drives. There you see the 80-yard, 7-play drive on Florida's third possession. Emmitt Smith up the middle for the touchdown. And then an easy drive, 87 yards in 3 plays, all of them Emmitt Smith. He went 11 on the first one, 4 on the second one, and 72 on the third play, as we showed you a couple times just moments ago to give the Gators a 14-0 lead. That is the score as John David Francis gets set to kick off for the Florida Gators. And New Mexico here early in the third quarter will try to establish that they can stay in this game for the duration.
Yeah, we were impressed in the second quarter with their ability to protect the quarterback, Leach.
Mathis running left side, gets a big hole, cuts back and is tackled around the 30-yard line. Made a good move to get away from Jimmy Spencer, but then the Florida coverage got him. Kerry Watkins, Alonzo Sullivan, Marquette Oliver all in on the play. A 27-yard return for Mathis. Jeremy Leach has had time to throw, but while his offensive line has perhaps surprised people by keeping the Gators off Leach, he has not been able to find many people to throw the ball to. 9 out of 16, just 60-some yards on the ball game. And you see, down and distance has not turned out so hot for New Mexico to this point. On first down, a quick hitch. It's completed to Mathis, who gets to the 36-yard line. There's 8 yards on first down, and that'll help that average.
Taking advantage of the situation that Will White, the free safety, was a bit deep right there, so they decided to strictly just dump the ball to the inside receiver in the double receiver formation.
Jimmy Spencer checks into the ball game for Florida. Kerry Watkins a little bit shaken up on that kick coverage, so Florida goes to its backup corner, and now Florida with just one senior on the football field defensively. Second down and a long 2, maybe 3 yards. Leach back to throw under pressure, gets it to Mathis, and Godfrey Miles tackles him for a loss of 6.
Kano Brown, the wide receiver, number 86 for the Lobos, is just shaking his head. He cannot believe that Godfrey Miles just sprinted by him so quickly. He was out there prepared to make the block, but Godfrey Miles makes the tackle behind the line of scrimmage.
There you see Mathis has caught 5 for 25 yards. He is 111 yards shy of passing Mark Zeno of Tulane as the all-time leader in career receiving yardage in NCAA history. It's hard to see him getting that many yards against this Gator defense today.
Yeah, the Gators only give up 105 yards per game on the average.
3rd and 9, another screen pass. This is Dion Morrow outrunning Huey Richardson, gets to the 35 and is dropped at the 37-yard line. Again, the Florida pursuit. Fee Bartley, Jerry Odom there to stop Morrow short of the first down. And New Mexico is going to have to punt, and this time Florida will go with a couple of deep men. Stacy Simmons and Tony Lomack both into the game, and I believe this is the first time all year Florida has had two deep men where one of them was in an up back position to try to catch some of those short punts. And there is a short one. It falls in between them. Bouncing around at the 25. Maybe they ought to rush one and bring 10 back to field it.
Well, the specialty teams believe that they can continue to put pressure on the other punter and force him to making some bad punts, but on occasion a bad punt continues to roll after it hits the ground, and right there the ball bounced right behind Stacy Simmons and in front of Lomack.
Talk about getting it over the front man and in front of the deep man. If that was a pass, it would have been beautiful into the seam in the zone. Donald Douglas into the game for the Florida Gators. Donald threw one pass late in the first half, and threw a couple. He hit Tony Jones for about an 8-yard gain and threw an incomplete pass as well. On first down, there's Emmitt Smith cutting to the outside. He's to the 30 to the 31-yard line for the Florida Gators. Give Emmitt 7 on first down.
Give Harvey Thomas a pat on the back, too, for hustling over to make an excellent block there.
Florida Gators with quarterback problems. Lex Smith suffered a cut on his left hand. That may explain why Donald Douglas went into the game so late in the first half. He is questionable for the rest of this ball game. So the Gators out there with Donald Douglas, and if they have to go to a third quarterback, it would probably be Johnny Nichols, a third-year sophomore from Pensacola who has not taken a snap and has been Florida's holder primarily. Emmitt Smith up the middle. He's got 10. He's got 15 to the 45-yard line. Emmitt keeps piling on the yards as he gets closer and closer to his second consecutive 200-yard ball game.
Well, you're so impressed with Emmitt Smith on his last 3 or 4 yards. Watch him finish off the runs. Now, I don't think he was really doing this his first 2 or 3 games this season. He didn't feel healthy, but now I don't think he has any problems with his physical health, and you see him finishing off those runs and picking up the extra 3 or 4 yards almost on every carry just by the extra effort.
Emmitt unofficially 183 yards today. Running right side, he's got 185 or thereabouts. He gets 2 or 3 to the 47-yard line. Mike Good on the stop for the New Mexico Lobos. Also in on the play is John Bell, number 99.
Well, that's an unfortunate report about Lex Smith having an injury here. He finally had his opportunity. We talked about kids coming to the University of Florida dreaming of being the starting quarterback. Lex Smith getting that opportunity this week, and then he comes up with an injury in the first half, and now Donald Douglas is going to see action, we understand, for the rest of the ball game. 2nd
down and 8 at the 47-yard line. Emmitt's just a couple yards away from 1,000 for the year. Fumbled snap. Douglas goes up the middle with it and gets near midfield. Another mishandled snap for the Gators. That's 4 today.
Yeah, Lex Smith had 3 in the first half, and now Donald has a problem getting the ball from Cal Dixon. These kids are getting a lot of snaps in practice now that Cal Morris is no longer the starting quarterback, but yet in game conditions it's a bit different, and they continue to have problems, and hopefully they'll be able to work those problems out before they take the road to Auburn in a couple of weeks.
3 yards on the play for Donald Douglas. 3rd down and 5 for the Gators at midfield. Emmitt Smith up the middle, hurdles close to, but I believe about a foot or so short of the first down. Let's see how the Gators play. Inside the 46, it'll be less than a yard to go for the first down when they spot it. Let's see just how far it's going to be. About a foot and a half for the first down, and the Gators are going to go for it, apparently. Emmitt gained 4 on the play. Puts him up at 190 yards today and gives him over 1,000 for the second time in 3 years. He was just 10 yards shy of 1,000 last year, but now 4th down and half a yard for the Gators. Dexter McNabb joins Cedric Smith in the backfield to block. They give to Emmitt up the middle. He's got plenty. Needed 2 feet. He ended up getting 7 or 8 yards.
Well, that was a quick hit and play, wasn't it? There was no dilly-dallying around in the backfield right there. Strictly a dive play to Emmitt Smith with no lead blocker. Well, excuse me, there was a lead blocker. Cedric Smith doing an excellent job, but boy, did Emmett ever hit that line in a hurry.
Cedric sealed off Nate Morris, giving Emmett the running room. There you see him now with 197 yards. 3 to go for another 200-yard game. 224, his personal best. He has a good chance to top that. Emmett again, right up the middle, inside the 30 to the 28-yard line, very close to another Florida first down. And the line surge just keeps getting better for the Florida Gators. In the second half, Jim, all year long, they've blocked very well. They've worn people down.
Absolutely. Every one of the offensive linemen stays with his block. Cedric Smith is freed up to hit the linebacker, and there's nobody there to touch him until he's in the secondary. And finally, Brett Heber, the strong safety, is the first guy to make the hit.
What a block he put there on Mike Good. He just threw a shoulder right in under the pads and rode him out of the play.
Good's going to feel like he was in a number of car wrecks all day long,
that
running
is
head
textbook.
on.
That's textbook. You can't get it done any better. There's Emmett in the clear, 20, 15. He'll be run out of bounds at the 8 and slammed down 10 yards out of bounds. And an official right on the play, and I don't believe a flag was thrown. He was dragged down 10 full yards out of bounds.
Yeah, I can't believe they didn't throw a flag on there, because they literally dumped him into the wall, which is about 7 yards outside. Now, admittedly, he's running away full speed, but let's watch Emmett break to the outside after hitting a seam off guard. Now, let's see when he's picked up. Barber trying to make a block in the secondary. And right here, it looks like they just continue to...
Watch, they'll throw him down even later, all the way into the wall.
Yeah.
That wall's about 35 feet from the sideline. Single game record for Emmitt Smith, 227. He's now looking for his third touchdown on 1st and goal at the 8. Emmett up the middle, 5 to the 3. They stop him there. Coming in late is and there's going to be a personal foul. A late flag comes in. Harvey Thomas buried someone from New Mexico. 2 officials right on the play did not throw a flag, but a third came in from left field and threw one, and it'll probably be a dead ball personal foul against the Gators. So we are seeing very inconsistent officiating. If that's a personal foul, then how is throwing someone into a wall 10 yards out of bounds not a personal foul?
Yeah, that's the problem you have with officiating. They don't seem to be evaluating their penalties equally on both sides of the line of scrimmage.
So Emmett gets a 5-yard gain, and then it's a 15-yard personal foul against the Florida Gators. It'll be 2nd and goal from the 18-yard line, and the Florida fans on their feet in that area of the field a little bit incredulous, particularly those who had such a good vantage point of both incidents. Harvey hit him late. There's no question that Harvey got a good shot in late. And maybe that's a message for what happened with Emmett. At any rate, it cost the Gators 15. They're going to run the option right side. Douglas gets away from one man. He's out in the clear to the 10. Donald Douglas, the freshman, gets to the 3-yard line. And there's another flag, and that may be on Florida and may be on New Mexico. I'm not sure. Terrence Barber into it, I believe, with Livingston down in the corner of the end zone. After Donald went to the ground, it appeared he took a hit, and then Barber and someone else got into it. It's going to be a dead ball personal foul. Which way? That way. That'll be an automatic 1st and goal, I believe. Let's watch it again.
And we were uncertain what the penalty was going to be. Douglas showing the talent that led him to be one of the most highly recruited quarterbacks in Texas history. Gators were excited to get him to come here to play in Gainesville, and he shows that running ability, getting out to about the 2-yard line. I didn't see the penalty, though. I don't know where the
if that was it, that was pretty soft as well. It's not a first down. It's half the distance. 3rd and goal on the dead ball foul. 3rd and goal from the 2. Emmitt Smith, 3 touchdowns for Emmitt Smith on the day. He has the career touchdown record, the career running touchdown record, the career yardage record, the career yards per game record. He will have the record book renamed for him at the end of next season. What a career. and he still has 15 games to go as Arden Krzyzewski looks to make it 21-0.
We hope.
There it is for the sophomore from Tampa King. The Florida Gators on their first possession of the second half drive at 76 yards for a touchdown. They're up on New Mexico 21-0. We'll be back. John David Francis will kick off for the Florida Gators as he surveys his kick coverage team, and let's watch the Gators' Emmitt Smith with number 33 on his terrific career.
Harvey Thomas and Cedric Smith throwing key blocks here on this play. Look at Cal Dixon, Chris Bromley doing their jobs. Emmitt simply bounces outside, and he realizes he can make it to the corner about 3 yards out.
Give a little credit to Mike Brandon as well. Not experienced at tight end, held up his man long enough for Florida to have a chance to make a play. On the kick return, Mathis across the 25, knocked off his feet at the 28-yard line. Florida Gators' Greg Baldwin down on kick coverage. So much for that Wolf, huh?
Oh,
Albert and Alberta. Wonder what they're doing after the game.
Fraternity house, probably.
Phi Kappa Lizard? I don't know. There you see Jeremy Leach. Not been a great game for him. He's had time to throw, but the Gator coverage has been outstanding. Out of the shotgun on first down. Leach gets a little pressure, hits his man, Mathis, for a gain of about 2 yards. Jerry Odom right there along, I believe on the play, Pat Moore, the two inside linebackers for the Florida Gators.
They both had a beat on the running back in that instance. Both inside linebackers doing a terrific job.
There you see how the Gators did it. 76 yards, 11 plays. Emmitt Smith did most of the damage. Donald Douglas got a good 15-yard run on a keeper on the option play that got it close for Emmitt to score from 2 yards out.
Larry, you know, we've been so impressed with the pass rush previously of this Gator defense. Today, I think it's the secondary and the linebackers, just tremendous coverage, you know. Those guys are really doing the job out there today.
Second down and 10. Leach rolling away from their pass rush, throws against his body, overthrows his intended receiver Morgan, and Will White was a step away from an interception. That's a tough throw to make, running to your right and then throwing back toward the middle of the field. I've never seen anyone, with the possible exception of Joe Montana, do it with any accuracy.
Morgan was open, but a difficult throw for Leach to accomplish. Jerry Odom had dropped back. Will White was chasing the wide receiver. Just excellent coverage all day long by this Gator defense. Linebackers, secondary doing a tremendous job. The offensive line of the Lobos are doing an excellent job keeping that rush down.
Third down and about 7. Good throw on the sideline. It's caught by Mike Henderson for the first down. Beautifully done as he got it over Godfrey Miles and in front of Jimmy Spencer for the first down. So Jeremy Leach moves the chains for the Lobos of New Mexico, gets his passing yardage up just a little bit over 90 yards.
Watch Mark Murray at the bottom of your screen. He's going to protest that he might have been tackled on this play. He's got the tackle beaten. Now the tackle just kind of throws him down. Gives Leach that extra bit of time to come up with a completion. So offensive linemen fighting for their life out there.
Quick drop from Leach, right sideline, diving catch by Morgan for a gain of about 6, maybe 7 yards. That's a heck of a play from Eric Morgan, a junior from Long Beach, California.
And the impressive thing about Jeremy Leach also, Larry, he's just a sophomore, and he's showing a lot of poise out there with the Lobos offense this afternoon. Leach, a very impressive young quarterback.
Morgan came into the game with 27 receptions. New Mexico as a team throws it a lot. They average about 37 pass attempts a ball game. 2nd and 3 from the Gator 49. Leach all kinds of time. Now he throws it to the running back Morrow, who spins off the tackle attempt by Fee Bartley and stumbles down to the 36-yard line. 13 yards on the play, another New Mexico first down. They're not going to give up.
Yeah, the Lobos pick up the blitz. Jerry Odom blitzes from his inside linebacker position here, but there's no pressure at all on Leach. Again, the Lobos do an excellent job maintaining the pass rush. containing the pass rush, excuse me, and Fee Bartley misses the tackle there.
The crowd reacting, Mr. Two-Bits, George Edmondson from Tampa, around there somewhere, giving the two-bit chant. Little swing pass is juggled by the running back Givens, who gets it under control and maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. Fee Bartley on the coverage for the Gators, along with Jerry Odom. Those plays that have been trying to string out the field have really worked right into the Gators' hands today, Jim.
And it looks like the Lobos have just eased over the 100-yard mark, maybe about 113 yards unofficially passing the ball today. And the Gators #1 in pass defense in the nation, holding opponents to 105 yards per game, but the Lobos come in averaging almost 270, so you know they're going to get their licks in.
Quick slant to the wide receiver Henderson, and he gets inside the 25, and another New Mexico first down.
And that pass continues to work for the Lobos because the inside receiver of the twin receivers on that side has no one in his face. He has 3 or 4 yards, and we talk about Leach having the poise to just drop back and dump it off to him, take 4 or 5 yards anytime they can.
There you see Jeremy Leach. When you only average 5 yards a pass attempt, it becomes very difficult to move the football. Leach changing something in the shotgun. He's going to go with the inside handoff to Dion Morrow, and Morrow gets away from Odom, gets away from Bartley, and gets down to the 15-yard line. Excellent running as he broke a pair of tackles and makes 9 yards on the play.
And a good thing Jerry Odom bounces up after he missed the tackle and makes the tackle for the second time after his first attempt failed. Little reverse action here on the draw. Jerry Odom's going to miss the tackle. Now watch him bounce up, run down the field, make the tackle again. But the Lobos are threatening here in the third quarter to put their first touchdown on the board.
Little over 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 21-0, Florida leading New Mexico, but the Lobos with an excellent drive. 2nd and 1 at the Gator 14. They see Mathis in motion. They'll give it to him on a reverse. He's looking to throw. Throws into the end zone. Deflected beautifully at the last instant by Richard Fain. Nice throw from Mathis. He just got it right on target, but an excellent defensive play from Florida's outstanding junior cornerback.
Tried to sneak Eric Morgan, the flanker, down the field on this, what looked like to be a reverse. But Fain in excellent position and makes just an outstanding play. He was not fooled at all.
Terrence Mathis was a quarterback in Stone Mountain, Georgia in his high school days.
And we talked about his size. He's not a very big kid at all, just 5'9", 165 pounds, but he's All-American potential.
0 for 2 throwing the ball today. 3rd and 1 New Mexico. They'll sneak for the first down to the 11-yard line.
Again, Leach with a lot of poise realized that he saw a gap right there and simply gave his center a little bump, or goose as we call it in the huddle. And he snapped him the ball and he picked up the first down.
While New Mexico drives, that young man thinks about his next chance to carry it. 2:33 for Emmett Smith already today, and we've got 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. 3 touchdowns to boot. 1st and 10 at the 11. The fade pattern, it's going to be caught for a touchdown. 1-on-1, Jimmy Spencer and Terrence Mathis. Mathis wins and gets the touchdown for the Lobos.
That was no contest there. Terrence Mathis, the All-American, beating Jimmy Spencer. A perfectly thrown pass by Leach, just the fade. Mathis coming up with a touchdown catch.
Mathis scored a touchdown on a reverse in the second quarter that was called back. That one will stick, and it's 21-6. New Mexico will try to make it a 21-7 ball game, and the Florida Gators, who thought they had some breathing room, now have to get back to work as David Margolis comes in to kick it out of the hold of Mike Henderson. Margolis' kick is perfect right down the middle. And the Lobos of the University of New Mexico, a team averaging 337 yards a game in total offense, move the ball the length of the field to get on the scoreboard. The Gators still up 2 touchdowns with 4:43 to go in the third quarter. Jeremy Leach is just a sophomore, but he is also in the record book for the Lobos. closing in on 4,000 yards already, and he has 2 seasons to go. He's a true sophomore, was not redshirted last year.
Well, he does a terrific job for the Lobos. He's got a bright future the next 2 years. These guys know how to throw the football.
New Mexico will kick off to the Gators for just the 2nd time. Stacy Simmons has it for the Gators, running right side, runs into traffic and is buried at the 29-yard line. So the Gators will go to work 1st and 10 at their own 29, a short 17-yard return. Florida has not done much returning the football in 1989. And Donald Douglas heads into the Florida huddle to lead his team offensively. The Gators went the length of the field for a touchdown and then kicked off to New Mexico, and the Lobos turn around and have an excellent scoring drive of their own. So now the ball's in Florida's court. Donald Douglas call signals. The give up the middle is to McClendon, and Willie gets about 2 or 3 yards to the 32. Nate Morris wrapped up McClendon after a short gain.
Well, nothing changes with the game plan, even though the Lobos have narrowed the gap to 21-7. The Gators, with over 300 yards rushing to this point, they're going to continue to pound that line of scrimmage, make the Lobos stop them, because they've been very effective running the game, and they don't want to try any gambles or anything with the young quarterback on the field.
2nd down and 8. They mark McClendon down at the 31. The pitch is to McClendon. He's across the 35 and close to the 37-yard line. And he'll be a couple yards short of the 1st down as Mike Good and Brett Heber got in on the stop for New Mexico. Willie McClendon from University Christian High School in Jacksonville, Florida. He's a sophomore.
Gators making some changes, Larry, at the offensive line with Brad Hatcher in at the offensive tackle. Richard Staroweski, the big senior, seeing some action at offensive guard, making some changes in personnel, but they have the depth to do that. Those are not substitutions necessarily. They're just guys seeing action that have a lot of talent as well.
McClendon cuts inside a would-be tackler and gets the 1st down. An excellent move by Willie McClendon. Looked like New Mexico had him hemmed in, but a good move from Willie. Puts him up at around 45, or rather 55 yards on the day, and gets the Gators an important 1st down to keep that New Mexico offense sitting for a little while.
We look at the scoring summary here. Terrence Mathis, the All-American wide receiver, with the 15-yard pass for the touchdown from Leach. 11-play drive. Very impressive drive by the Lobos here in the 2nd half.
And the Gators trying to launch an impressive drive of their own, have a 1st down at the 41-yard line. Douglas fakes
cornerback
the draw.
blitz.
He's going deep for Lomack. Tony Lomack right through his hands. Right through his hands. On the coverage for New Mexico was Darius Harris, but Tony Lomack, we'll see maybe on a replay if that ball gets deflected, but I think Tony Lomack feels he should have caught this ball.
Now, Donald Douglas gets hit in the back because they're blitzing from his blind side, but he delivers a beautiful bomb to Lomack, and his vision is just blocked for a moment, and he can't come up with a catch. Harris was in his face just for an instant, maybe couldn't pick up the ball.
Lomack on the sidelines as Simmons checks back in. 2nd and 10 for the Gators at the 41. Nice throw from Donald Douglas. True freshman, hasn't had many times to air it out in his college career. McNabb up the middle gets a yard. Dexter McNabb, the 3rd Florida tailback, into the ball game. No running room at all that time. In on the stop, the nose guard, Dave Warner, along with John Bell. And the Gators faced with a 3rd down and 9 from their own 42.
You know, one problem for a young quarterback is he's so concerned about looking over to his own bench to see what his own coach is telling him. He has little time to think about what the defense is doing. And in that situation, the Lobos almost made a substitution of 7 or 8 players, and he never saw it.
See what the Gators do on 3rd down. Donald Douglas rolling right, has to get away from one tackler, still running. Gets away again, he's to the 45, up the sideline to midfield, and he's got a 1st down at the 48 of New Mexico. That is why that young man was recruited so heavily by Houston and Texas A&M and a lot of other schools. great athletic ability.
Well, we saw a kid named Don Smith have a great career at Mississippi State running the football from the quarterback position, and Donald Douglas does it again here as he just zips outside a blitzing defensive back. Now the linebackers can't catch him. Look at his balance here as he tiptoes down the sideline. Gators receivers making extra blocks for him downfield.
Tony Jones, a wide receiver who spent most of his life as a defensive back, with a good block for Florida. First down at the 48-yard line. Give up the middle, Cedric Smith. He's got running room, folks. 30, 25, 20. The big senior's out of bounds at the 12. Cedric's been blocking brilliantly all day. That time he goes up the middle for 36 yards.
And after about 30 yards, Cedric looked and said, "What's that bear doing on my back?" But Cedric Smith, just a powerful fullback, gaping hole right there. Now he breaks down the sideline, but just doesn't quite have the speed to finish off the play. But a beautiful run nonetheless.
Look at the fundamental strength of Cedric Smith. Watch him change hands when he sees the pressure coming from the outside.
Yeah, arm tackles don't get it with this guy, and he just brushed off one arm tackle. Now there he does make the switch to the outside arm. Oh.
From the 12, Willie McClendon loses a couple on first down. Good defense from New Mexico. Mike Good in on the tackle along with Brett Heber. We've seen both of those guys quite a bit.
Strong safety blitz right there. The Lobos realize they can't line up and play just a base defense against the Gators all day long, Larry. They're going to have to blitz somebody on occasion, and right there they decided to take a chance, blitz the strong safety, and he met the tailback in the backfield.
Second down. We'll call it 11 from the 14-yard line. The Gators need to get just inside the 3 for a first down. Donald Douglas on the draw play to McClendon, and Willie fights down to the 10-yard line where it'll be 3rd down and 7. Mike Good again on the tackle for New Mexico. He's had a busy day along with Nate Morris, his cohorted inside linebacker, number 41.
Now you get back to that first down blitz. The Lobos feel that the young quarterback will probably not throw the ball on first down, so they feel pretty safe blitzing their safeties, and on that occasion it worked. And now the second down run did not pick up that much yardage. The Gators face a 3rd and a healthy 7. 3rd and 8, we'll call it.
2 receivers to the left for Donald Douglas. The freshman calls the signals. Option right side. Douglas will keep. Douglas will get about 4 yards, maybe 5, down to the 5-yard line. He stretched out and put the ball at the 5. They'll mark him down at the 6. And that'll bring up a 4th and a long 3 for the Florida Gators at the 6-yard line. And the Gator coaches huddle together and decide they're going to kick the field goal and stretch that lead out a little further. Arden Krzyzewski goes into the ball game. Arden has not missed a kick this year. He is 9 in a row extra points, 5 in a row field goals. So this is his 15th kick attempt of the season. From the right hash mark, it'll be a 23-yarder. Johnny Nichols will hold. The snap is good, so is the placement, and so is the kick. Arden Krzyzewski, his 6th consecutive field goal attempt on the season. The Florida Gators answer the New Mexico touchdown drive with a field goal of their own. The Gators are up by 17 as we end the 3rd quarter at Florida Field. Back with the final 15 minutes of the Florida-New Mexico game after this timeout from Sports Channel. Do not adjust your set. Those people really are swaying back and forth just like that as the Florida fans sing "We Are the Boys," a Gator tradition at the end of the 3rd quarter of all Gator football games. The Gators up 24-7 over New Mexico, a game that, Jim, I think has been tougher than most Florida partisans expected it to be.
I think so, and the Lobos have done an excellent job with their game plan. They're protecting their quarterback, Leach. Leach is an excellent passer. The Gators have moved the ball up and down the field, but have not got in the end zone that often this afternoon.
Terrence Mathis lets it hit at the 3, picks it up at the 5-yard line, finds a seam on the right side. He's to the 20, the 25, 30, and run out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Terrence Mathis, with all kinds of athletic ability, averages 26.5 on kickoff returns, and he got 32 that time.
Jimmy Spencer on the hit for the Gators. Spencer was victimized by Mathis on his touchdown catch, so he got a chance to get in a lick right there. Kerry Watkins generally starting at cornerback most of the afternoon for the Gators, but Spencer was in on the touchdown reception. And
more changes for Florida defensively. Sam Scavella in at one cornerback along with Richard Fain. Scavella, a walk-on redshirt freshman from Miami. Dion Morrow on the draw play, staggers across the 40 to the 44-yard line and got 8 yards on first down. The Lobos of New Mexico moving the ball a little bit better now. Morrow's got 32 yards on the day. Florida with a good drive for their second score of the second half. 65 yards in 11 plays, and they took some time off the clock. Gave the defense a rest after that long New Mexico drive, but here the Lobos are right back with good field position and a 2nd and 2 at the 44. Out of the shotgun on 2nd and 2. You won't see that very often. Pretty good pressure, moves Leach out of the pocket. Now he throws to a sliding receiver. Did he hold on? He made the catch. Kano Brown, number 86, a freshman from Albuquerque who walked on and later got a scholarship. This is not textbook, but what a job he did.
Again, Leach gets time, steps to the side, gets a better view, finds Kano Brown down the field, and Brown looked like he was sliding into second base and just maintained his poise and comes up with a catch.
Ball at the Florida 40, first down New Mexico, inside 14 minutes to go in the game. Jeremy Leach on the square out, hits Morgan, and Morgan gets past 2 Gators inside the 20, and it's finally driven out at the 16-yard line. More sloppy tackling from the Florida Gators. Pat Moore ended up recovering to make the play for Florida, but that's several times here in the second half, Jim, that we've seen Gator tacklers hit men and not lock them up.
Godfrey Miles was underneath, coming out to cover from his linebacker position. Richard Fain made the hit, but just bounced off.
Tony McCoy out of the ball game for Florida. Tony Rowell back in. First down at the Gator 17-yard line is where they marked him out of bounds. Florida leading by 17. Inside handoff is to Givens. Givens is hit at the 17, dropped at the 16. He got a yard. Good defense out there on the corner for Florida.
Strange to see a team, Larry, that their running attack consists only of reverses and draws.
Tim Paulk made the stop for the Florida Gators, but that's it. It's been all misdirection except for the quarterback sneak on the 3rd down and a yard in the last possession. 13-15 to go in the ball game. The Gators up by 17, but New Mexico threatening once again. Jeremy Leach, again, plenty of protection, throws to the end zone, and that ball is caught for a touchdown. Fee Bartley had the ball coming right at him. He didn't break on the ball, and Mathis cut in front of him for the touchdown reception. And New Mexico on consecutive possessions has driven for a score against this Gator defense.
You're absolutely right. Fee Bartley seemed to be mesmerized for a moment while the ball was in the air, and Mathis simply cut right in front of him on the break to come up with the reception. Sam Scavella also in coverage there, the young cornerback from Carroll City, the young freshman.
Gary Darnell beside himself right now. He's not thinking like a head coach. He's thinking like a defensive coordinator who has seen his team put absolutely no pass rush on a guy who had been sacked 31 times in his first 7 ball games. Extra point is good, and New Mexico very much in this football game. It's a 10-point game. Florida 24, New Mexico 14. David Margolis heads to the sideline, and when we will head out for this timeout. Back with more from Florida Field. Gary Darnell taking off his head coach's hat and putting on his defensive coordinator's hat, and he huddled Pat Moore, Will White, and all of his first-team defense together to talk about getting the job done and getting this game finished. It appears the Florida defense has kind of gone home early. 2 straight long drives from New Mexico, and now the Lobos kick off to the Florida Gators. Stacy Simmons at the 8. Fakes the reverse to Tony Lomack. He's got running room 30, 35. Cuts inside. Stacy drops the football. And New Mexico may have gotten it. They did. Simmons, 1 step from breaking it all the way, dropped the ball. It was just stripped of him. And the Lobos can really put the pressure on the Gators now. First down at the Florida 43.
What looked like was going to be a brilliant kickoff return turns into disaster, possibly, as a big turnover for the Lobos. They're going to get excellent field position. Stacy Simmons had all kind of green turf in front of him, gigantic gaping hole right there, but the ball was stripped away.
There's a flag over on the 23-yard line. We'll see what the penalty is. The officials are huddled together. You would expect it to be an illegal block against the Gators on the return, which you would assume would be declined. Let's check and see. Calling a dead ball personal foul against New Mexico after the fumble recovery. So it'll be 1st and 25 for the Lobos, and somebody was thrown out of the football game for the New Mexico Lobos. We don't know who. Over around the 23-yard line during the return, something happened. We didn't see it. And a New Mexico football player was thrown out of the ball game for what he did. Mike Shepard's getting the explanation. And you see the official there with showing Mike Shepard a clenched fist. I don't believe he's threatening the New Mexico coach. I'm sure he's describing someone threw a punch and got thrown out of the game for it.
Well, nonetheless, the momentum is now with the Lobos, having had success on 2 drives here in the second half. And now with the turnover, they've got to be excited in their offensive huddle.
New Mexico has thrown for almost 200 yards against the Gators today. 22 out of 30, 192 yards.
Looks like the Gators have put in Tony Roll to play in the defensive line and might be dropping Huey Richardson off the line of scrimmage. As we look at
it took them to go 64 yards. New Mexico, a very fast drive. And we'll see how the Gators play this coverage. 1st and 25 from the 41-yard line. Do a little delayed reverse with Morgan running left side, and he's breaking tackles over to the 47, 48-yard line. A gain of 7, should have been a gain of 2, but again, New Mexico's runners able to break the tackles of the Florida Gator defenders here in the second half. Mike Shepard has to be awfully proud of the effort his guys have given forth. A 5-game losing streak, beaten 26-7 by UTEP last week, and they're down by just 10 to a nationally ranked Florida Gator football team in the 4th quarter. Terrence Mathis with a couple of TD catches today. He's had a big second half. 2nd down and about 17, 18 to go. Leach runs out of trouble. He's going to be dragged down from behind by Culpepper after a gain of 2.
Gators choose to rush 3 defensive linemen, drop back 8 defenders. We saw him with that, mixing that coverage in last week. Seeing if they can shut down Leach by putting more defenders back to cover.
3rd down and 17 from the 49-yard line. New Mexico needs to get just inside the Florida 34 for a 1st down. A big couple of plays for both teams right here. Gators trying to take the momentum away from the Lobos. 3-man rush. Leach has all kinds of time deep down the middle. It is broken up again by Richard Fain. Henderson screaming at an official, thinking he was interfered with, but Richard came right over the shoulder and broke it up.
Now, Richard Fain had a beat on that ball the whole way. Mike Henderson tries to run a post route on him, but Fain has a beat on the football as Leach released it and waits to the last minute to simply bat it away. But it was excellent coverage by Fain.
See if New Mexico really punts it here. They do. Albrecht's kick is going to be taken at the 15-yard line, dropped and picked up by Lomack, running right side, gets away from a couple tacklers, up to the 30 and is run out of bounds at about the 34, but they'll say he stepped out at the 28.
When he dropped that ball, there was a bit of a relaxation by the punt coverage team, and Lomack took advantage of it to pick up an excellent 15, 20 yards.
11:07 to go in the game. The Gators up 10, trying to shake those pesky Lobos. We'll be back. It may have appeared Emmitt Smith had the rest of the day off. Not so. Emmitt back in the ball game as Florida tries to take control of this thing. 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. The pitch is to Emmitt running left side. Emmett gets to the corner, gets across the 30, and is dragged out at the 35-yard line. Give Emmitt Smith 5-6 yards on first down. They'll mark him at the 34, so it's a gain of 6. And it'll be 2nd down and 4. Richard Fain, a junior from Fort Myers. He and Deion Sanders were buddies growing up. Deion had the great career at Florida State, now with the Atlanta Falcons and the New York Yankees, and may be suiting up with the Edmonton Oilers before too much longer. And there's Emmett, 239 and counting. He's gone over 1,000 for the year. Up the middle, Cedric Smith, 40-41, first down Gators. Brett Heber makes the stop, but not before the senior from Enterprise, Alabama, picks up a first down for the Florida Gators.
And the Gators approaching that 400-yard mark as an offensive unit, rushing the football. They're shade over 380 now unofficially. A lot of success running the football, but not much success getting in the end zone. Only a 10-point lead over the Lobos here in the fourth quarter.
From the 41, it'll be 1st and 10 for Donald Douglas and the Gator offense. The give is to Emmett. Emmett breaks a tackle, gets to the 45, the 50, into New Mexico territory at the Lobo 48-yard line. Emmitt Smith gets a dozen and another first down.
John Thompson, free safety, tried to bring Emmett down with an arm tackle right there, Larry, and that's never going to work. Emmett continued to move down the field for about 5 or 6 yards. Watch Emmett here running to the bottom of your screen. Thompson, number 3, is going to make an arm tackle right here. That's not going to work. That's what makes Emmett so different. He just will not be brought down by one man, and never with an arm tackle.
On first down, they go up the middle, and there's nothing there for Emmitt Smith. Maybe a yard or 2 to the 46, and that's it. It'll be 2nd down and 9. Mike Good, Donald Livingston make the tackle for New Mexico as we go inside. 10 minutes to go in this football game. 24-14, Florida leading New Mexico here at Florida Field. The crowd has been relatively quiet. Emmett has had a big day. The Gators have moved the ball a lot, but have not scored a lot of points. There you see the situation. 2nd down and closer to 8, but we'll call it 9 yards to go from the 46. The Gators need to get just shy of the 37 for another first down. Option right side. Donald Douglas will keep it. He's inside the 40 and down to the 39-yard line, 2 yards shy of another first down. On the option, the boys from New Mexico are sticking around with Emmitt Smith, and Donald Douglas reading it well and picking up yardage.
Donald Douglas looks a lot more comfortable running that option, doesn't he, than when he drops back to pass the football. There he had the football in one hand, the classic fake to the tailback. He brought the ball back into his own belly and ran the football himself. Just an excellent athlete running the option.
44 yards for the freshman from Liberty, Texas, Donald Douglas. Looks over the New Mexico defense on 3rd down and 2. It's Emmitt Smith inside the 35 to the 30. Emmett to the 25, is down at the 23-yard line. Emmitt Smith gets 16 more. He's over 250 on the day.
Well, I feel like a parrot talking about the same thing, time after time.
We'll just start numbering the responses, and I'll just call up number 6.
Right, he just continues to bounce off defenders at will. 2 or 3 guys have a shot at him, and he just continues down the football field.
Look at those numbers for Emmitt Smith, 269.
Look at the average. That's the thing.
He's just going to sit down and rest a minute. First down, Gators at the 23. Willie McClendon into the Florida lineup. And the give is to Willie. He tries to get outside. He's knocked off his feet on an excellent tackle on the corner for New Mexico, making the stop, Jimmy Marshall. And it'll be a loss of about 3 yards on the play. Emmett getting some attention. Something with his right knee, either his knee or a pad down there, slipping loose, and he's getting attention down there.
I think, again, that was a first down. They realize that Douglas is not going to pass the ball, so they blitz their strong safety, and he messes the play up.
Ball outside the 25, 2nd down and a long 12 for the Florida Gators. Alonzo Sullivan goes in motion. Douglas gives up the middle. Cedric Smith a step away from breaking into the clear, gets down to the 22-yard line. Nate Morris got him around the shoelaces. 1
step and 1 shoelace, and you're right, he was gone.
Harvey Thomas, Stacy Simmons check back in.
Those inside linebackers are tired of getting blocked by Cedric Smith, so when they get a chance to hit him when he's running the football, they take advantage of it.
Now Harvey checks right back out again. Emmitt Smith continues to get attention from Gator team trainer Chris Patrick and team Dr. Pete Indelicato. 3rd down and 8 for Donald Douglas. Throws over the middle. He's got Kirkpatrick at the 15. Short of a first down, it'll be 4th and a couple. And let's see how the Gators elect to play it on 4th and 2. Greg Keller making his first catch as a Florida Gator, the freshman from New Orleans.
He's a big kid, too, isn't he? He looks like he's about 6'4". Let's see, Keller is, yeah, he is 6'4", 211. Nice tall target.
Arden Krzyzewski goes for his 7th field goal of the season. It would be his 2nd of the day, right down the middle, a 33-yard try. The kick is up, and the kick is good. So Arden Krzyzewski remains flawless for the Florida Gators. The Gators put 3 more on the board, and with 6:21 to go in this football game, the homecoming crowd at the University of Florida sees their Gators up 27-14. We'll be back on Sports Channel. The heat is on as preseason basketball begins Saturday, October 28th at 7:30 as the Charlotte Hornets meet the Miami Heat live from the Miami Arena. Watch the Heat showcase their talents as they enter their 2nd season of NBA action right here on Sports Channel. Miami Heat may not be available in all areas, so please check your local listings for the date and time of NBA action here on Sports Channel. Florida kicks off and kicks deep. Down around the 7-yard line. That's Morgan on the return. He gets to the 20 to the 25-yard line. Bodies flying all over the place. That was not Morgan. It was Kano Brown on the return for New Mexico. We'll see if the Gator defense can try to put a little exclamation point on this ball game and wrap things up here with 6:14 to go. New Mexico starting 1st and 10 at their own 28-yard line. Jeremy Leach has passed for 196 yards against the Florida Gator defense. That's almost twice what the Gators were allowing defensively coming into this ball game. There you see, 22 out of 31. They go with the draw play to Dion Morrow, and he gets about 2 yards. They marked the kick return down at the 36, and Morrow got at the 26. He gets a yard to the 27. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for New Mexico. Inside 6 minutes to go. Pat Moore, the Gator defensive captain, the man who calls the signals. The Gators went 57 yards to set up that Arden Krzyzewski field goal. Took another 4.5 off the clock. The Florida offensive line certainly has knocked out the running room today. Over 400 yards on the ground for the Gators. 2nd down and 9. That's that one-step pass, and it is completed to Jerome Williams. Not Jerome with an M, but Jerome with an N. And he gets to the 35-yard line. He'll be less than a yard shy of a first down.
This time they decided to dump the ball to the tight end on just a very short delay instead of hitting one of the twin receivers, the inside twin receiver, as they've had success this afternoon. This time they just dump it off to the tight end.
First time the Gator pass defense has allowed 200 yards in a game this year. 3rd down and less than a yard, running right side. Givens is hit by Richardson, may have gotten the first down. Huey Richardson hit him right at the line of scrimmage, but Aaron Givens fell forward, and I think he got the first down at the 26-yard line. See if they're going to measure or just go ahead and give it to him. There's Huey.
Yeah, we've not called Huey's name that much this afternoon, so you know that the Lobo offense is doing an excellent job, but he makes a big hit right there, but I think the extra effort picked up the first down.
It did get a first down for New Mexico. 36-yard line, 1st and 10. Clock running, less than 5 minutes to go. I am surprised New Mexico, 2 touchdowns from a major upset, isn't hurrying up more. They're taking their sweet time getting their plays off. Out of the shotgun, Jeremy Leach. Inside handoff goes to Dion Morrow, and Morrow gets about 5 to the 41-yard line, and the Gators will let New Mexico do this the rest of the night.
Morrow coming into this ball game, Larry, just averaging almost 4 yards per carry, a little over 400 yards rushing, and as we've seen this afternoon, I bet 390 of them have come on the draw.
14 carries, 30 yards for Dion Morrow. New Mexico as a team has 50 on the ground, but right around 200 in the air. 2nd down and 5 at the 41, nearing the 4-minute mark in the game. 3 receivers out to the left for Jeremy Leach. Florida starts the rush. He's going deep, wide open. He's got a man at the 20. Touchdown, Lobos. Eric Morgan wide open with an out-and-up move on the Gator secondary, and New Mexico with an extra point would be down 6 with 4 minutes to go.
Richard Fain and Will White seem to have gotten confused as to what the coverage was right there, but just a beautiful pass by Leach as he saw his receiver sprinting open.
Florida led the nation, allowing 105 yards a game through the air. Jeremy Leach has more than double that today. The New Mexico quarterback somewhere around 250 yards. We'll have the official numbers shortly. Extra point attempt from Margolis would make it a 6-point ball game. The kick is up and the kick is good. So a stunned crowd here at Florida Field now doesn't know what to think. 3:52 to go in the game. The Gator lead is down to 6. We'll be back. Well, the Florida Gators were prohibitive favorites over the Lobos of New Mexico, but Jeremy Leach has made it quite a ball game.
Here we see Fain getting beat deep, and Will White's late getting over to help him out. The free safety, trying to get over to help his cornerback out, and Fain immediately looks at Will White and says, hey, where were you? A bit of miscommunication in the secondary cost him a touchdown.
Florida not expecting an onside kick. We'll see if they get one anyhow from New Mexico. 3:52 is a lot of time on the clock. The Gator offense has been able to chew up that much on just about every possession. Simmons fakes the reverse again. He's got all kinds of running room. Stacy to the 35, flag on the play as he steps up the left sideline and will go out of bounds at the 40 of New Mexico, but I don't think it's going to count for much. Flag at the 25-yard line, and that's likely to be either a hold or a clip against the Gators on the return. It'll be clipping.
Almost without exception, it seems like every kickoff return, there's a penalty. You know, coaches will accept aggressive mistakes, but
saw nothing there at the point of attack to indicate a clip.
Something way behind the action, because the flag came out after Stacy Simmons had run about 20 yards past the official.
Sometimes on a reverse or a fake reverse, you know, coverage men will turn. They'll start runway and they'll turn on a blocker. And from the distance that these flags are coming from, it may be that the officials, and I'm not saying one side or the other, they're not seeing that guy turn on the blocker. If a defender turns on the blocker, the clip is not to be called. And I think that may have happened a couple times today, because as you mentioned, every return, it seems like, has had a clip today. At the 12, now the Florida Gators have a lot of work to do to hold on to win this ball game. Up the middle, stagger stepping is Emmitt Smith. He gets to the 14. Give him a couple. It'll be 2nd and 8.
And the Lobos, again, realize that the Gators probably will not pass, so they're loading their guys up at the line of scrimmage to shut down the run. It's like the Gators run on every play and the Lobos pass on every play.
Second consecutive 5-play drive for New Mexico. This one's 74 yards for a touchdown. The bomb to Eric Morgan. 2nd and 8 at the 14 for the Florida Gators. Donald Douglas pitches to Emmett running right side. A lot of traffic. Emmett finds a seam, gets across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Those are the runs of Emmitt Smith that maybe amaze me as much as anything else. It didn't look like there was anywhere to go, and he picks up 7 yards.
And they're critically important, too, as the Lobos call timeout here. But he just ducked his head, Larry, and picked up an additional 5 or 6 yards with extra effort and comes close to the first down marker, making it a 3rd and short. Let's watch Emmett here as they pitch him the football. Waits a bit for his blocking to take effect. Now he's looking for a seam. Now when he finds the seam right here, watching find a second seam.
Just reading Richard Starweski all the way.
And he puts his head down and drives for the extra 3 or 4 yards. And like you say, those kind of runs are critically important to the Gator offense, especially late in a ball game like this when you got to maintain possession.
New Mexico used a timeout, so they're banking on stopping the Gators here on 3rd down and 2. If Florida gets a first down, then they'll be able to take a good bit of time off the clock, because New Mexico will be down to a couple of timeouts remaining.
And they'll have plenty of time too, won't they, with 2:57 on the clock. The way they can throw the football, 20 seconds would be plenty of time for those guys.
3rd down and 2, and Whitey Jordan's got to decide if he's going to go with his bread and butter and leave it up to Emmett to get the job done, or do something to surprise New Mexico. You know, all 11 of those guys are looking for number 22 to get the football. Florida goes to the right side. Emmett grabbed from behind, shakes off a tackle, breaks loose. There he goes again to midfield. Hit from behind, and he's down at the 40-yard line. He is an unbelievable football player, folks. You've got to love watching him. 300 plus for Emmett today.
I'm concerned right here he's going to get tackled for a loss. You think, oh my goodness, they've got him, but no. He just changes direction, bounces back, and turns what would have been a loss into a gigantic gain. All-American performance. That kid's got to be high on Heisman balloting all across the nation late in the season.
Look at the numbers on Emmett Smith. And now with 2.5 to go, the Florida Gators try to run it out. Cedric Smith up the middle for a yard to the 39.
You know, and those are deceiving yards. A lot of folks will probably read the sports page tomorrow and think, well, the Gators were big favorites over New Mexico and Emmett Smith had an easy day. That's not the case at all. The Lobos have played a great game against the Gators, and Emmett Smith has just had a fantastic personal performance.
Officially, they've updated Emmett to 321. That is an SEC record, the greatest game a running back has had in SEC history. Less than 2 minutes to go. 2nd down and 9. New Mexico did not use a timeout, so they've got 2 remaining. Donald Douglas changes the play at the line of scrimmage. Quick step, and he throws right side, overthrows Tony Jones, who takes a pop on the side there.
Tony Jones is going to go back to the huddle and say, now, Donald, let's don't do that again, all right? If you're going to put me out there, get the ball down where I have a chance to catch it. Don't get me stabbed in the back. But Donald Douglas is learning. I mean, he's a young, true freshman quarterback. He's got to get repetitions. He's got to get chances. And these are his chances that hopefully will pay off later in the year when the SEC battles continue.
1:40 to go on 3rd down and 9. The Gators up by 6. They're going to run it. McClendon stopped for a loss of a yard. New Mexico will use its final timeout. They will get the ball back with more than a minute to go and 1 timeout remaining. That's one thing that really helped New Mexico on that incomplete pass, is it saved them a timeout, and the Gator defense is going to have to win this game, as Emmett Smith has certainly done all he could do. 31 carries for 321 yards and 3 touchdowns for Emmett.
But throwing the football, you have to throw the football. You just can't rely on the running game completely, because the Lobos were blitzing on 1st down. They were counting on the fact that Donald Douglas wasn't going to pass it, so the Gators did try a pass. I think actually Douglas made the call himself as he checked off the line of scrimmage, but that did, as you mentioned, stop the clock.
Hank Roan, they've come close to blocking him a couple of times today. Once we were amazed that Darius Harris didn't block it and roughed Roan and gave Florida a 1st down. Now New Mexico with 9 men on the line of scrimmage on this 4th down play, 1.5 minutes to go. Roan will try to get it down inside the 10. The important thing is to get the kick off. He gets the kick off. Running his cruise, he juggles it out of bounds at the 16-yard line. Not a particularly good kick from Hank Roan. New Mexico is 85 yards away from an upset as the Gators' first-team defense goes out on the field with 1:26 to go. Emmett Smith receives congratulations from one of his offensive linemen and thanks him at the same time.
Well, now we're going to see New Mexico coming into this ball game, Larry, the number 11 team in the nation passing the football against the defense that was number 1 in the nation stopping the pass. So let's see what's going to happen.
Checking the stats, Emmett may not have the all-time record for a single game in the SEC, but at this point it matters not. First down from the 15. Can the Gators put pressure on Jeremy Leach? Leach back to throw deep down the middle. The pass is juggled around and falls incomplete. 3 men on the coverage with Terrence Mathis. Fain, Scavella, Will White were all there. No one came down with the football. 2nd and 10.
But this Mathis is so scary. He had a shot at that ball, and Leach delivered the ball to Mathis. Watch, this is not far from becoming a completed pass, although the coverage is excellent. Just knocking it away, but it was delivered on the money.
What a job he's done. Tony McCoy exhorts the Gator fans to cheer and make some noise. 2nd and 10 at the 15, and now time is called. An official timeout for some reason. If that's a noise timeout, that is amazing. They're going to call it a noise timeout against the... No timeout is charged, but they stop that because of noise?
Yeah, that's
If
ridiculous.
those guys get near the south end zone, we'll never finish the game, folks, because that was nothing. I mean, this isn't church, folks. It's football.
I assume these are Southeastern Conference officials. I can't believe that myself. It was a dull roar, you know.
And they'll get louder now. They will get louder. And this is louder than it was before. 2nd and 10 at the 15. Leach gives on the draw play. Aaron Givens gets 5 yards. That was a gamble by New Mexico with only 1 timeout left and needing 85 yards.
1:10, 1:09. The clock continues to tick. The Gators only having 3 down linemen. They're using Huey Richardson as a linebacker, dropping back to protect.
3rd down and 5. Gators show blitz. They're not coming. 3-man rush again. Jeremy Leach looking to throw over the middle. He's got his man Mathis at the 29, and he's wrestled out at the 30, and a flag on the play. And if it's a face mask, it could be a 15-yarder.
Well, it looked like Tim Polk, or was it Fee Bartley? I'm not sure. He had the helmet, without a doubt. Whether he had the face mask, obviously it must have been.
They signaled 5-yard. He did not signal a personal foul. Let's see how they mark it off. They mark off a 5-yard face mask against...
It is Fee Bartley going for the tackle, and he does grab the mask.
Got him up high. He did not... I don't know if he got a mask. He got part of the helmet, certainly. But it's a 5-yard penalty. Stops the clock. 35-yard line for New Mexico. 48 seconds left in the game. First down for the Lobos. Crowd trying to get the Gator defense charged up. Leach back to throw. Richardson comes on a delayed sort of blitz. Leach running around back there. Now runs away from Odom. Throws sideline. It's caught by Mathis at the 41-yard line.
What poise this Jeremy Leach has running for his life.
I get tired watching him chase him.
Finding his All-American at the sideline, but a lot of pressure there because, as you mentioned, Huey Richardson did come with a delayed blitz right there from his linebacker position.
Pickup of about 6 yards. It'll bring up a 2nd down, but more importantly, 9 seconds off the clock. Only 39 seconds remain.
And looks like the Gators are going to rush 4 men here.
On 2nd down and 4, Leach tries to call signals over the crowd. Another delayed blitz from Florida. Deep down the middle, single coverage. Fain jump, can't come up with it.
Oh, my goodness.
Flag on the play in the area where it might be roughing the passer.
I thought he was going to juggle the ball into the air, and Mike Henderson was going to run underneath it.
It's holding. It's offensive holding on New Mexico. I saw the flag where Leach was on the ground, as was Mark Murray, but the flag is called for offensive holding, and the Gators will mark it back 10 more yards with 32 seconds to go. Richard Fain down on the field.
I think it might have been his hand or his fingers when he fell to the turf. That turf is very, very dangerous for a kid's fingers, wrists. When they try and protect themselves as they fall, sometimes they might dislocate a finger or something like that, and he looks like he's in a lot of pain right now. But Fain had perfect coverage right there, but did you see him tap the ball in the air? And I was very...
Almost high enough for Mike Henderson to make a run at it.
And Fain was losing his balance at the same time, so Henderson would have been gone and nobody near him.
They're looking at Richard Fain's left shoulder, I believe. If he fell funny with his arm pinned, that can happen. Let's watch as this play ends.
Let's see, Fain now, he's going to knock the ball into the air. He can't come up. Oh, you see him stick his left hand down there to break his fall? I think that's the problem. Now, whether it caused an injury in his shoulder, his wrist, his arm, we don't know. But hopefully he'll be off the field and be able to, well, get back in the game certainly in 2 weeks. Looks like he's out for today.
This is not a comfortable feeling for the Florida coaches to have their best cornerback injured with 30 seconds to go against a team that has passed as well as New Mexico has.
And for whatever reason, Kerry Watkins has not been in the game either. I think he's pulled the muscle as we look down on the sideline and see him limping. I think that's one of the reasons Kerry Watkins was out of the game earlier at cornerback.
Richard Fain comes off the field under his own power. It's that left arm and somewhere between the collarbone and the tip of his finger, and hopefully it's nothing too severe for Richard Fain because he is a key part of the Florida defense. Second down, 14, ball at the 31-yard line. 32 seconds to go. New Mexico has one timeout remaining. Jeremy Leach, four-man rush, flushes him out of the pocket. They got him. Mark Murray got him from behind at the 25-yard line. New Mexico uses its timeout with 23 seconds.
All afternoon long, the Lobos have done a nice job negating that Gator pass rush. Mark Murray not even getting close this afternoon. Huey Richardson not able to get to the quarterback, but finally Murray continues to hunt for the quarterback and comes up with a big sack late in the ball game. Watch the backside. Mark Murray throwing away the blocker at the last moment to come up with a sack. And Leach in the shotgun gives him extra opportunity to look downfield, but Murray will not be denied.
Murray had to fight off two blocks. He first fought off the left tackle, Brad Sullivan, then the running back, Dion Morrow, hit him. But Murray would not be denied that time for the Florida Gators. The score 27-21. Gators up by 6 with 23 seconds to go.
And Larry,
will we see those same three wide receivers to the left side? They ran the trips left, confused the Florida defense for a touchdown earlier. Now they can do it with rookie corners for the Florida Gators.
Well,
Jimmy Spencer and Sam Scavella, who have not played, although Fain has just gone back in.
Right. I was going to mention that. Fain is back in the ball game, Larry, so obviously he's not hurt too badly and looks like he's going to be able to play the rest of the ball game.
Third down and 19. Basically, it's third down and 75 yards to go with 23 seconds remaining. Leach back to throw, deep over the middle. It is intercepted. Did he hold on? Yes, he did. The Gators finally wrap this baby up. Will White, a redshirt freshman from Tallahassee, Godby, lets the Gator fans finally relax about this homecoming game. It has been a heart stopper, but at last, the big play, and Florida is one snap away from victory.
Larry, there were wide receivers running all over the field from left to right, right to left, but Will White just stands his ground in center field as a free safety should. Right there in center field, he waits for the action to come to him, then breaks on the football, solidifying this victory for the Gators.
Tighten it up real close. Now remember, rookie quarterback, they've mishandled a few snaps, but all he's got to do is hold the snap and go down on one knee, and this one's over, and that's it. Everybody can stop hyperventilating. The Florida Gators get the victory. It was extremely difficult this afternoon in front of 72,000 plus for homecoming, but Gary Darnell is now 2-0. The Gator defense, that vaunted Florida defense, gives up over 250 passing yards on the afternoon. But a brilliant performance by Emmitt Smith keys the Florida Gators to a victory over New Mexico. A very proud man, I would think, Mike Shepard, walking around congratulating some of the Florida Gators. There he is with Gator interim head coach Gary Darnell. What an effort the Lobos put forth this afternoon.
Yeah, that coach can go into the locker room and tell his kids, hey guys, you fought your heart out, and I'm extremely proud of you. And we were very impressed with them too, with that offense. You know, out on the West Coast, they say they love to throw the football out in that area, unless you go to Southern Cal, I guess. But in the WAC conference, where BYU is in that conference, those guys love to air it out. And did they ever do a job today and against the #1 pass defense in the nation?
The only thing they couldn't do, control 22. Emmitt Smith, 300 plus. The Gators win it at homecoming, 27-21. Back with a final word after this. It wasn't supposed to be tough for the Florida Gators. New Mexico from the Western Athletic Conference had lost 5 in a row. They had had all kinds of trouble, blown out by Hawaii, handled comfortably by Texas El Paso. The Gators, ranked #1 in the nation in total defense, had moved into the national polls in virtually every poll among the top 20 to 25 teams in the nation, and yet, Jim Yarborough, a very difficult homecoming game for the Florida Gators.
Well, and I think one of the reasons, too, is because of the turmoil here in Gainesville with the unfortunate circumstances with Coach Galen Hall leaving and starting quarterback Kyle Morris leaving, and the guys really not knowing if Lex Smith or Donald Douglas could get the job done. So a lot of pressure on those two young quarterbacks, a lot of uncertainty with the offense, even though, as we mentioned, the Gators have such a strong supporting cast for their quarterback. And now Lex Smith down with an injury. We're not sure what the situation is with that injury. Donald Douglas finishing the game throughout the second half, and I know the Gators are glad to get this one behind them, Larry, and look forward to going into Auburn after a week off.
Look at these final numbers on the ball game. The Gators on the ground, the Lobos in the air. A couple of impressive performances.
Well, the Lobos coming in, average less than 60 yards rushing the football and close to 300 throwing the football, and we see why. With Jeremy Leach out there and doing such a fine job from the quarterback position. But look at the total yards, the Gators, 530 yards, over 400 yards rushing the football, unbelievable. And
300 plus for Emmitt Smith. They'll work on the official numbers, whether it's 316 or 321, but it was an amazing 31 carry performance for Emmitt Smith, and the Florida Gators get the victory in front of the home folks here in Gainesville. Our next University of Florida football game will be Saturday, November 4th at 11:30 in the evening when the Florida Gators take on the Auburn Tigers at Jordan-Hare Stadium in Auburn, Alabama. The executive producer for today's game has been Jeffrey H. Gensner. Our coordinating producer has been Harlan Singer. Today's game has been produced and directed by Brad Hurd. Remote facilities provided by WCJB TV. I'm Larry Vitale saying so long for Jim Yarborough and our entire Sports Channel crew. Again, the final score, the Florida Gators win it over New Mexico, 27-21. The preceding has been an exclusive Sports Channel presentation. So long.